Chapter 130. Friendship Bro Tao's intentions were truly sinister. Friendship Bro Tao was still broadcasting. Many people became interested when they saw that there was a duel to watch. That's the vice president of Wild Waves? She's quite good looking. Is she a streamer? Where did she get the courage to accept the duel? Bro Tao is really good at PK. That girl is also a sword spirit cultivator? Alright, there's no suspense. They're of the same class, level, equipment and skills. None of them can compare. What's the point of fighting? In the Celestial Mountain main city, one couldn't kill anyone, but duels between players were allowed. In front of the Twin Towers, the crowd opened up a large space, leaving enough space for the two captains. The duel began. 3, 2, 1. After going online, Lu Chen wanted to level up, but when he thought of the Stone Gate world, he almost vomited. He had been farming nightmare spirits for the past few days. His level had increased, but he was also going crazy. He ran around the map, pulled monsters together, and killed them with a few great ravagers. After that, he repeated the cycle for a few days. There were no surprises, and the drops were the same every time. He was also numb to the thrill of leveling up. It would be strange if he didn't vomit. In the process of farming, Lu Chen was really bored. He bought the skins of the previous monsters and played with them in turn. Phantom Moon Wolf, Steelback Thorn Jackal, Three-Petal Flower Demon. But there were no nightmare spirits. It was Xiao Min who told him that nightmare spirits weren't a specific kind of creature, so they couldn't obtain bloodlines and talents. Even the fun was missing. Damn, I have enough soul essences and pure spiritual energy. I'm not farming anymore. Let's go home. Lu Chen's home was Benevolence Peak. After returning to the territory, Lu Chen first raised his soul source to level 2, then found that a soul source fragment could only raise it by 5%. In the past few days, most of his previous records had been broken. Originally, Lu Chen didn't care. The Tiger King's Cave's tiger blood was very cheap now, so it didn't matter if he gave it away or not. The spirit gathering pill given by the Immortal Execution Tower only added 1,000 pure spirit energy. Lu Chen farmed more than 20,000 spirit energy a day, so he didn't really care about this little bit of pure spirit energy. However, Lu Chen was still unable to find any other drop locations for the spirit source shard. I still need to make a trip to the Immortal Mountain. Lu Chen changed back into his human skin and left Renai Peak. When he went down the mountain, Lu Chen saw that the three idiots were still transporting materials. The materials for the instance dungeon were almost ready. When he returned, he would create an instance dungeon. There sure are a lot of ways to do this. However, let's take things one at a time. Let's get the spiritual source shards first. The key to a duel was the control of distance, the control of skills, and most importantly dodging skills. In Jiutian, apart from melee attacks, almost all skills had to be predicted. Cenobi's Great Ravager and Spiritual Sword Rain were both predictive skills. As for Lung Nua and Brother Tao's Divine Sword Guides the Way, they were both predictive skills. With an extremely fast sword aura, they pierced towards the opponent. It was easy to defeat monsters with skills, but it wasn't so easy to defeat people. One needed to force the opponent to move, so that the final attack couldn't be dodged. Of course, although Divine Sword Guides the Way was a single target attack, its attack range was wider than a normal sword, about 2 meters. It wasn't easy to dodge Divine Sword Guides the Way. Lung Nua's control, awareness and predictive skills were all very good. Her level and equipment were inferior, so she didn't dare to engage in melee attacks. Both sides used skills to suppress the opponent. The two sides fought a few rounds, and it was a back-and-forth battle. 10 steps. One man excitedly pulled on Annotated Handsome's arm. Brother Handsome, Sister Nua played very well. Blossoming Jixiang pouted and snorted. Sister Nua has also been practicing her skills. In the future, when we rehearse, our Sister Nua can do what others can't. This is an advantage. However, Annotated Handsome shook his head. Friendship didn't give it its all. What? 10 steps looked at Annotated Handsome strangely. It can't be. I think Sister Nua's movements are very good. It's not that easy to hit Sister Nua. Annotated Handsome shook his head. Nua's movements are indeed good, but her weakness is her lack of experience. In the eyes of professional players, these movements are all expected. Handsome also said, "That's right. The predictive skills you guys often talk about are just normal movements. Real professional players need to be able to predict your predictive skills." Friendship's skill is indeed not bad. I could see it in the Celestial Execution Tower. This level of movement shouldn't be able to fool him. 10 Steps frowned. "So Brother Handsome means he's playing with Sister Nua?" Annotated Handsome didn't answer. It was already a tacit agreement. Although Lung Nua worked very hard, and her talent was also very good, as Annotated Handsome said, what she lacked was experience. It wasn't experience from fighting monsters, but PK experience. In other words, Lung Nua's movements were still at the amateur level. She hadn't been tempered by real competition. As expected, after Friendship Brother Tao dodged Lung Nua's attack, he smiled. "Good, not bad. Unfortunately, I don't want to play with you anymore." A divine sword guides the way shot out from Brother Tao's longsword. Lung Nua dodged it with a step. Just as she landed, another divine sword guides the way smashed into Lung Nua's body. -313 physical attack. -54 magic attack. That position was actually hit. 10 Steps said in shock. Was this the awareness of a professional player? Accurately calculating the direction you would dodge in next. Accurately calculating the time of the second attack. And the distance you would move in that time. Prediction skills were used the same as directional skills. They were accurate and without error. When experts exchanged blows, they would never give the opponent any chance to breathe. Brother Tao's attack succeeded. He turned around and shot out another sword energy. Lung Nua hurriedly stabilized her body. Don't panic, don't panic. I can dodge this attack. I can't let him lead me into his attack rhythm." Lung Nua quickly took a step back to buy herself some time to react. Then she quickly dodged. Seeing that she was about to dodge the attack, Brother Tao pinched his fingers together. The sword energy suddenly turned around and went straight for Lung Nua. What? It's the second stage of the Divine Sword Guides the Way. He actually learned the second stage of the Divine Sword Guides the Way. This guy is too sneaky. He's been hiding it all this time. He only took it out now. Facing the sudden second attack, Lung Nua had no way of dodging and was hit again. It wasn't over yet. The third sword energy rushed over. This time, Lung Nua didn't know how to dodge it. How could she dodge the second change of direction? 10,000 Swords Attack. 10,000 Swords Attack could be used as an AoE skill. However, it could also be used as a single target skill. Multiple flying swords would attack a random enemy in front of them. When there was only one enemy in front of them, this skill would become a terrifying single target skill, with high explosive power. "Sorry, you're too trashy." Brother Tao smirked. Lung Nua, who only had half of her health left, was attacked by 7 flying swords in a row. In an instant, her health bar was depleted and she fell to the ground. Brother Tao turned around and looked at the camera of the group member in charge of the live broadcast. He said loudly, "Sorry, this battle is between the leader of Friendship and the leader of Wild Waves. Friendship is the winner." Sister Nua. 10 Steps, and the others rushed over to help Lung Nua up. Lung Nua's eyes reddened. She stood up immediately. "Why do you and I have to fight in the name of the guild? I'm leaving Wild Waves now. So in this battle you've won against me. It doesn't mean that Friendship has won against Wild Waves." "Oh, you have such a personality." Brother Tao raised his eyebrows and looked at the red high heels with great interest. Jiotian guilds weren't easy to leave. Once you leave, you'll never be able to join the guild again. Wild Waves had always been managed by this woman. It was a good thing that she was forced to leave Wild Waves. Soon, Wild Waves would only exist in name. Then why don't you leave the guild? Lung Nua took a deep breath and looked back at the members of Wild Waves. Perhaps many people joined Wild Waves for the sake of being nameless. However, after a few days, they would know that Wild Waves didn't mean being nameless. The reason why many people chose to stay in such an amateur team was because of the vice president. She wasn't the strongest. She always had a cold face to others. However, she was always the most attentive to her members. Without Sister Nua, there wouldn't be a Wild Waves guild with more than 300 members today. "Sister Nua, don't go." Lung Nua lowered her head. She held back her tears and said, "I've learned a lot here. Thank you, everyone. I don't want the name Wild Waves to be insulted. So I have to go. Brother Jun, you'll be the vice president in the future. Also, I'll give you the divine beast." The leader gave it to Wild Waves, not to me. Nua Nua. Jun looked at Lung Nua with heartache. However, at this time, perhaps Lung Nua's actions were the most rational. The price of a divine beast, 1 million? 10 million? The market couldn't give an answer, because no one was selling the divine beast. However, the vice president didn't take it for herself. This was enough to show what kind of person she was. Her hard work was obvious to everyone. At this time, Jun only hated that his equipment was too bad, and his profession level was too low. He couldn't protect Wild Waves and Nua Nua. Everyone work hard. Goodbye, Lung Nua said and turned to leave. At this time, a familiar yet strange voice suddenly sounded. "Did I agree to let you leave?" Hearing this voice, everyone looked in the direction of the voice in shock. Chapter 131. When she saw this person, Lung Nua's eyes became misty. If there was one person in Mad Waves who could make her stay, it would be him. Guild leader Nameless. Without the guild leader's permission, the vice guild leader wanted to leave the guild? That was AWOL. Even though his blue equipment and purple weapons were not that eye-catching. The moment he appeared, the entire Celestial Mountain main city almost exploded. It's Nameless. He's back. Nameless is back. What? He's Nameless? The Nameless who made the Korean server beg for mercy? Some of the newbies had only heard of the legend, and had never seen him in person. Nonsense, of course it's him. There are many people who hide their IDs, but who dares to call themselves Nameless? Nameless no longer meant no name. Instead, it had become a unique ID that no one could imitate, and no one dared to imitate. In front of Lu Chun, the player spontaneously opened up a path. Lu Chun slowly walked into the center of the arena. He glanced at Friendship, and then walked in front of the red high heels. "Don't bully me anymore?" These 4 simple words caused the grievances in Lung Nua's heart to overflow. This guy was so annoying. He hit the nail on the head. During this period of time, he, as the guild leader, only knew how to be a hands-off boss. Mad Waves was forced to this point, and he did not even care. He let her raise the divine beast, but the resources needed to raise a divine beast were too much, and he did not care. If he was her boyfriend, she would definitely teach him a lesson. Unfortunately, she and Nameless were not that close. Lung Nua turned her face to the side and wiped her eyes while she was combing her hair. "Guild leader, you're back." This small action did not escape Lu Chen's eyes. This girl was quite stubborn. "Yeah, I'm planning to come back and challenge the Celestial Slayer Tower," Lu Chen said. "I just happened to see." "Guild leader, I'm sorry. I've embarrassed the guild." Lu Chen smiled. "I'm the one who should be apologizing. I'm the one who brought you all this trouble, but you're the only one who has to bear the responsibility." Leader. Lung Nua could barely hold back the tears in her eyes. This damned game, did it have to be so realistic? Even her emotions could be expressed so clearly after her brain was connected. Lu Chen looked at the red-eyed Lung Nua and smiled gently. "Don't worry. I will make them pay you back 100 times over." Slowly turning his head, the gentleness in Lu Chen's eyes had disappeared, leaving only a frightening coldness. Lu Chen slowly opened his mouth, pausing after every word, and announced loudly, "Today, the Friendship Guild will either get out of this server, or I will flatten your guild." With a boom, the entire scene exploded. All the major broadcast rooms that were broadcasting the Friendship Tower Challenge were immediately flooded with bullet screen comments. "Fuck, this is too crazy. Is what you said about flattening the guild true? Ask Friendship to get out of our server? Flatten the guild. Motherfucker, how arrogant. Is the guild war going to be brought forward? Or is Brother Nameless going to challenge the entire Friendship Guild? Where are the people who said that Nameless can't do it? The god of war is indeed the god of war." Of course, not everyone admired Nameless so much. What are you shouting for? Who doesn't know how to shoot their mouth off? Brainless fans, look at your Wargot's equipment. It's no longer the best. Does he still think he's the Nameless from before? One step behind, one step behind. He doesn't have the strength anymore. In the field, The Friendship Guild's people were furious. Nameless, don't be too arrogant. You want us to leave the server? Impossible. It's already good enough that you Wild Waves have a few people who can fight. Do you think we'll be afraid of you just because of one sentence? Brother Friendship Wave looked coldly at Nameless. Nameless' equipment was still the same set, not updated at all. The rumors on the internet said that Nameless hadn't been online for more than a week, because he was on a business trip or something. It might be true. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to not change any equipment. More than a week ago, Brother Tao didn't dare to provoke Nameless. However, for more than a week, they had been leveling up every day, fighting dungeons, farming equipment, and leveling up their profession. He was no longer the same person as before. The 8th floor of the Celestial Execution Tower was the best proof. If Nameless was still so powerful, how could he watch him occupy the first place of the Celestial Execution Tower for so long? Thinking of this, Brother Tao became more and more confident. Nameless, stop pretending. Do you think it's still 10 days ago? You think we'll obediently leave the server after shouting a few words? You did help Wuxia's players, but we still haven't snatched your mythical beast. Our friendship has already given you face. But a game is a game, after all. You can't just show off once, and all the players have to give in to you. Now that you're riding on our necks, it's natural for us to resist. Brother Tao was also cunning. With just a few words, he glossed over Nameless' previous contributions, and even turned the tables. This way, friendship would be justified, lest some players would say that they were treacherous. Nameless sneered. You're right. It's indeed not 10 days ago. Friendship was not the friendship of the past. Was he Lu Chen still the same Lu Chen as before? You said that I'm riding on your necks, so you're saying that it's right for you, a leader, to bully my vice leader, and it's right for you, a professional player, to bully an amateur player? Also, you won't allow me, the leader, to help my people get back at you? What are you used to bullying the weak? You're really good at inverting right and wrong. It's just a game. Can you be more shameless? Why don't you go to the novice area to duel, and tell everyone that your friendship is the strongest? Also, you said you're giving me face? First of all, I didn't say you're giving me face. Don't flatter yourself. Second of all, you don't seem to be giving anyone face. Why don't you fight for the divine beast? Aren't you afraid of being scolded for being a bunch of ungrateful bastards? Even so, didn't you already have people eyeing the divine beast? If I didn't come, I guess your next step would be to snatch the divine beast. Your friendship guild is worthy of being called the second son of friendship. You should change your name to the ungrateful retarded guild. Lu Chen had been beaten up by society, and his mouth was not easy to deal with. He fired a machine gun, and directly scolded Qing Yi to the point that he was full of dog blood. Friendship Brother Tao's face turned red and purple. After a long time he said angrily, Nameless, cut the crap. Aren't you awesome? Let me see how awesome your trashy equipment is. Do you dare to accept my challenge? Lu Chen snorted. Sorry, you're really not worthy of my attention. I've already said, either you leave the server or I'll flatten your guild. Arrogant. Fine, flatten our guild. I'll personally smash your mouth today. All members of the Friendship Guild, gather at the plains outside the Celestial Mountain main city. We'll teach Wild Waves a lesson. 20 minutes later, the two major guilds in District 122 were facing each other in the Celestial Mountain main city. The number of players around them was even more terrifying, surrounding the entire battlefield. The major livestream rooms quickly discovered this theme and logged into District 122 to broadcast the battle live. Jiutian had not opened up official guild wars yet, but the two sides of this battle had made a new agreement. Whoever lost would get lost. This was a battle more intense than a guild war. Moreover, it was a battle between two famous guilds in the country. For a moment, the number of viewers skyrocketed. When the two sides faced each other, it seemed that one could tell who was better just by looking at their equipment. On the Friendship Guild side, their equipment was obviously better. Moreover, their team was organized. It was obvious that they were an experienced professional team. On the other hand, on Wild Wave's side, the players stood together casually, as if there was no organization. Wild Waves, get out of this district if you lose. Brother Tao sneered. Our friendship guild will let you make the first move. High heels, 10 steps, floral fragrance, handsome, chic and the other main guilds were about to step forward, but Nameless waved her hand. What are you guys doing? A team fight? 10 steps asked curiously. Brother Nameless, don't worry. Whether we win or lose, we'll give it our all. Luchin smiled and shook his head. It seemed that he did not make it clear, which was why everyone misunderstood. No wonder they had been notifying their team members just now. These people were all members of Wild Waves. Luchin could not stop them from watching. In the end, they thought that it was a team fight. Just watch. I alone am enough, Nameless said calmly. Today I want them to understand one thing. As Luchin spoke, he pulled out 2 tiger sobs and twirled them around his hands. You can't touch my people. Chapter 132. When the members of the Friendship Guild saw Nameless walk out alone, Brother Tao said angrily, Nameless, you're too arrogant. Cut the crap. If you can beat me, you win. Luchin snorted. I don't want to waste time. Come at me together. Brother Tao's face turned red. Let's go together. How arrogant is this guy? Okay, you said it. We're not bullying you with numbers. Brothers, Nameless is no longer the Nameless of the past. Don't be afraid. Kill him. The members of the Friendship Guild hated Nameless, all the way back to the first time Nameless challenged the tower. Now that they had a chance to take revenge, they were all fired up. Brother Tao is right. You can tell just by looking at his equipment. He's already outdated. He's no longer a war god. Let me kill this war god with my own hands and become famous. I've seen arrogant people, but I've never seen someone as arrogant as him. Brothers, let's make Nameless and trash like Wild Waves disappear together. Charge. The members of the Friendship Guild were all fired up. They looked at Nameless like hungry beasts seeing their prey. More than 200 professional players rushed toward Nameless. Leader. Wild Waves and the others saw this scene, and their hearts were in their throats. It wasn't a week ago anymore. Even if their leader's physical defense was high, now that all the major professions had developed, many of their attacks had spiritual attacks. Their leader's equipment only added 24 spiritual defense in total. No matter how strong he was, no matter how he moved, he couldn't block more than 200 people from the Friendship Guild. Moreover, they were professional players. Hua Luo pulled the sleeves of her high heels tightly. Her eyes were wide open. She was so nervous that she didn't know what to do. Sister Nua, the leader. Lung Nua was also panicking. Was it because the leader hadn't come online for a long time that everyone in the country's server had improved so much? However, this was the leader's order. She could only pray. Brother Nameless, don't lose. Seeing the enemy army rushing over, Lu Chen's lips curled up. These 200 people were no different from a few kittens to him. When he was in the Stone Gate world, a wave of elite spirits had to pull over 1,000, which was several times more than this. It was true that he didn't have any spiritual defenses, but did that matter? Could their spiritual defense be higher than 1,000 nightmare spirits? The method to resolve the spiritual defense was very simple. Lu Chen's gaze gradually turned cold. He slowly raised the 2 tiger tears in front of him. Tiger's roar. He activated his full spiritual attack mode. Storing power. 3 seconds had passed, but Lu Chen had yet to activate his skill. People weren't monsters. Although he could hit them at this distance, a professional player's reaction speed might be able to dodge Lu Chen's attack. He didn't want to give the person who had feelings for him a chance to react. So he had to be patient, patient. Look, John Doe hasn't moved yet. He won't be trampled to death, will he? He doesn't even move? He wouldn't want to fight head-on, would he? Nameless, can't you see that some of the other players have better equipment than him? Looks like I really haven't been online for a long time. I don't even understand the new equipment. It's over. The legend of the God of War is going to be ended by friendship. Sigh. Seeing this, Handsome and Chic looked at each other. The two of them had a tacit understanding and shook their heads helplessly at the same time. 10 Steps happened to see this scene. His heart tightened. Handsome bro, do you think the captain can win? Handsome was depressed. He shook his head. Looking at it now, he can't win. The key to fighting one against many is exquisite movement, accurate control of the distance to the millimeter, and perfect release of skills. You have to maintain a distance from the opponent's main force and form a 1v1 situation in the local area to quickly finish off the opponent. However, Nameless actually wants to fight head-on with so many people. He's obviously overestimating himself. Handsome and Chic were former professional players in esports games. If even they said so, then High Heels and Flowers fell. 10 steps and the others suddenly felt a chill in their hearts. The captain was going to lose. This battle had attracted the attention of many teams, including the TT Guild. Li Qiuning stared at the live broadcast. She didn't know why, but her heart was in a mess for this strange yet familiar man. Lin Sun and the others all said that Nameless was going to lose this time. No one was optimistic about the former god of war anymore. Li Qiuning looked sadly at the lonely figure. Nameless, are you going to lose? That's impossible, right? Friendship's people were already not far from Nameless. For some skills, this distance was not easy to dodge. However, the interesting thing was that Friendship's people were not satisfied. They still wanted to get closer. Nameless God of War was known to everyone. As a professional player, they naturally took this factor into consideration. Therefore, they needed to get closer before they could attack. And this was exactly what Lu Chen wanted to see. In the blink of an eye, Friendship's people were close enough. The melee units were still closing in quickly, trying to force Nameless to move. The ranged units were already preparing their skills. Nameless, today I'm going to blast you to smithereens and avenge my previous humiliation. Brother Tao roared. At this moment Lu Chen, who had been motionless all this time, spoke. Sorry, you're not qualified. Great Ravager sweep. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge sword energy that was more than 10 meters long swept out horizontally, shooting towards Friendship's people. It was true that the Great Ravager sweep was a yellow-grade technique, but there were still differences between yellow-grade techniques. One was a skill from a super strong boss, while the other was a skill that could be learned by finding a professional trainer and spending some materials. It was obvious which was stronger and which was weaker. The moment the sword energy appeared, all the big broadcast rooms exploded. Fuck! What is that? Fuck, what a fierce sword energy. A sword energy that was more than 10 meters long. Immortal sword guides the way was like child's play in front of it. Great Ravager sweep? This isn't a skill taught by the Immortal Mountain's professional trainer. Could it be dropped? All the players who were watching the battle were shocked, as if they were in the same situation. This strand of sword chi was like a thunderbolt, and it cut through all obstacles as it shot out violently. The might contained within it already caused one to shudder with fear. What was even more frightening was that this sword energy almost covered half of the battlefield. It can't be. This is a fucking group attack skill? Oh my god, I can't even describe it. A player who looked like a high school student faintly recited a poem. That's because you're uncultured. It really has the aura of a sword energy that can sweep across 30,000 miles. A sword that can chill 19 continents. Therefore, it was better to read more books. Otherwise, when seeing such a scene, some people could only say, fuck, that's awesome, while others could only recite a poem. Friendship's brother Tao was indeed a professional player. In the face of the sudden sword energy, he did not panic. Quickly moved to the right. For this kind of skill, it's already his limit that he can use it once. If he survives, we'll be the ones to torture him. However, before Brother Tao finished speaking, the purple tiger weep in Nameless' hands was like a dancing purple light, waving again and again. The second sword energy hit half of Friendship's people. 1106. More than 200 numbers left everyone dumbfounded. Fuck, what kind of group attack skill is this? One sword attack, and it's over 1,000 damage. Chapter 133. The second sword energy directly reduced half of the Friendship's HP, causing everyone to break out in cold sweat. However, Obelisk's sweep was not over yet. The third sword energy swept across the battlefield. The Friendship's HP dropped by a large chunk. The fourth, fifth, and sixth sword energy followed closely behind, covering the entire battlefield. Sixth sword energy. The total damage had reached 7,000. More than half of the Friendship's people had already fallen. Only a few dozen people with luxurious equipment and excellent skills were left. At this moment, the 8th sword energy appeared out of nowhere. Fuck. It's not over. Not good, we can't dodge it. Another dozen people died. When he saw the 9th sword energy, Brother Tao, who had low HP, suddenly froze and stopped dodging. He looked at the shocking sword energy in a daze. But Brother Tao's gaze pierced through the sword energy and looked at that person. Wrong, we were all wrong. Nameless didn't disappear. He just went to a stronger world. Nameless had disappeared for more than a week. The first few days were fine, but in the later days, people didn't see Nameless for a long time, and their own strength increased by leaps and bounds. Gradually, some people thought that they had caught up to the former war god. However, when Nameless returned, he told everyone with an even more exaggerated strength that not only did they not catch up to Nameless, they were even left behind. Wuxia war god. Wuxia war god. Brother Tao smiled dejectedly. He used to be envious of this title, even jealous, but at this moment, he had to admit one thing. Not everyone was worthy of this title. The sword energy passed through his body, and Brother Tao fell to the ground as expected. Perhaps along with his body, his fighting spirit also fell. The 10th sword energy cleared the battlefield. After the 10th sword energy, only one person was left standing, and that was Nameless. Was it over after clearing the battlefield? Wrong. The 11th sword energy, the 12th sword energy, the 13th sword energy, until the 36th sword energy, Nameless spun Tiger Weep and put it away. The battle was over, and Lu Chen was slightly puzzled. Where were the cheers? The cheers? The cheers? Although he didn't care about these things, Mad Waves should at least be happy, right? There were so many people in the audience, but there was no sound at all. He turned his head curiously, only to find that all the spectating players, including Wild Waves, were petrified. Friendship's players were very strong. Nameless had to use 10 blade auras to clear 4 to 5,000 HP. However, so what? Nameless told everyone that 10 flashes of sword chi was far from his limit. He could destroy Friendship 3.5 times. After a long time, Lin Sun raised his head and looked at his companions in disbelief. This fellow is actually able to release 36 such powerful sword chi. Are you whipping a corpse? Old Pung took a deep breath and shook his head. With Nameless' personality, he shouldn't be interested in whipping corpses. Besides, other than the first 10 sword chis, the other 26 sword chis were all aimed at the air. There's no such thing as whipping corpses, Lin Sun asked in confusion. Then why did he release the remaining 26 sword chis? After all, Old Pung was old. His gaming skills weren't high, but he was able to become TT's team manager. Naturally, he had a good eye for people. Lin Sun, don't you understand? Show off. Does he need to show off? To him, showing off is the easiest thing to do. Then why? Old Pung took a deep breath and said, Jiutian has endless opportunities. Nameless must have encountered some great opportunity. However, what I want to tell you is that the scariest thing about this person isn't his strength. The scariest thing about him is that he's too meticulous. Previously, when faced with the charge of more than 200 people, he didn't release his sword chi. This requires extraordinary concentration. In a decisive battle, the distribution of each sword chi is extremely particular. Otherwise, how could 10 sword chis be enough to clear Friendship? Take you guys as an example. If an amateur player were to use Obelisk on you, under the same damage, I estimate that your survival rate would be more than 80%. I believe that Friendship wouldn't be much worse than yours. Therefore, his prediction, timing, and mental fortitude are all top-notch. Lastly, why did he use the extra 26 sword chis? The reason is simple. I'll summarize it in one sentence. Old Pung deliberately paused and looked at everyone. The reason why he kept them in suspense and piqued everyone's curiosity was to tell them that this person must be taken seriously. Everyone also looked at Old Pung curiously. Old Pung then said, 10 sword chis to clear the field. 36 sword chis to establish dominance. From now on, those who want to touch Wild Waves should at least think carefully about whether they really want to provoke such a monster. Lu Chen was a little disappointed. There were no cheers or screams. He wondered if the 36 sword chis had made some people understand that Wild Waves should not be touched casually. However, he was not in the mood to stand here with this group of people in a daze. He still had important things to do. Shaking his head, Lu Chen walked alone to the Twin Towers. Since he was already here today, he might as well take down the demon-subduing tower and give the soul-gathering pills to Nuanyuan and the others. He did not expect that this guild that he did not take seriously at all would develop quite well. Wild Waves was just a guild that Lu Chen casually created to deal with the NPCs. However, to others, Wild Waves might mean more. As the guild leader, he had to do something. A few minutes after Lu Chen left, the thousands of players in front of the main city gate of the Celestial Mountain woke up with a start. Oh my god! Just now. What happened? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. 36 sword cheese. Did I count wrongly? One sword chi dealt 1100 damage. A total of 37,600 spiritual attack damage. The worst thing is that this is a fucking AoE skill. Could this be Brother Nameless' true strength? Isn't this too terrifying? 1 against 100, and he was unscathed and insta-killed. As expected of Wuxia's #1 god of war. I'm sincerely convinced this time. Where's Brother Nameless? Brother Nameless left again? Could it be that all experts hide their achievements and fame so deeply? Lung Nua shook her head to make sure that the scene just now was not an illusion. From everyone's similar expressions, it did not seem like a dream just now. So the guild leader was not lying? He did it. With his own strength, he flattened the Friendship Guild. When he walked over, he asked softly, "Were you bullied?" He was as gentle as a couple, like a brother, like a father, making people have the urge to jump into his arms and cry. And when facing the enemy, he argued with reason, and was cold and heartless, making people fearful. During the battle, he was unimaginably calm. His sword was extremely accurate, and his sword chi was everywhere, blocking all escape routes. Even professional players could not avoid it. And the terrifying scene of the 36 sword chis, left behind at the end, made everyone who was disrespectful shut up. It was really terrible. She did not know why her heart was beating so fast. That guy, Where's the guild leader? Red High Heels looked around curiously, but that person's shadow was nowhere to be seen. He left again. Lung Nua frowned. How could this guy be like this? At this moment, someone in the crowd exclaimed, "Fuck! Everyone look, Brother Nameless is going to challenge the Twin Towers. He'll definitely break the Friendship Guild's record." 10 Steps raised his head and looked at the challenge record on the big screen. He took a deep breath, and the depression in his heart had long been swept away. Smiling slightly, 10 Steps said proudly, "Of course, but you're all wrong. He's not going to break anyone's record. The guild leader is just going to take back what belongs to him." Chapter 134. First floor of the Celestial Execution Tower. Lu Chen was surrounded by a group of small monsters, but he was unscathed. It's annoying to be bothered by these towers every day. I'll try a few more levels this time, so that I don't have to come here often. The monsters in the Celestial Execution Tower were very dense, but from Lu Chen's point of view, the denser the better. Great Ravager Sweep. Outside the Celestial Mountain main city, people were staring at the time of the anonymous player. Anonymous player time, 00:09. However, suddenly the time froze at 10 seconds. Why did the time stop? It's impossible that he couldn't pass the first floor, but the time stopped there. It can't be that Nameless Bro cleared all the monsters, right? This person also said it unintentionally, but the speaker didn't mean it. But the listener took it seriously. That's right. Nameless Bro had that group attack skill, so it was possible that he cleared all the monsters. Damn, he really cleared all the cheats. To be able to clear all the monsters in the Celestial Execution Tower, Nameless Bro is definitely the first person in the entire server. Second floor time, 10 seconds. Third floor time, 9 seconds. Fourth floor time, 9 seconds. I'm speechless. People are competing to see who can last the longest in the Celestial Execution Tower. The longer the better. In the end, Nameless Bro is playing the racing mode, and the time is getting shorter and shorter. 8th floor time, 33 seconds. A female player asked her teammate in fear, "Brother Nameless, is this the end? Or is this the end?" The handsome boy next to her seemed to be the girl's boyfriend. At this time he touched his nose and said hesitantly, "This? I can't tell. But Nameless Bro is so strong, maybe he cleared all the monsters?" Nameless Bro cleared the Celestial Execution Tower, and everyone was stunned by the timer. In the various broadcast rooms, many streamers were broadcasting the Twin Towers in Area 122. Winchim supported her chin and said with anticipation, "It's the 8th floor. The current highest record in the Wuxia server is the 9th floor. What kind of record can Nameless Bro set?" Winchim could be considered an expert, so she could naturally tell that Nameless would not stop at the 8th floor. All of a sudden, Feng Lingzi had an idea and said to her fans, "There's no point in just watching. How about this, let's place a bet. I'll make a quiz and everyone can place their bets." Very quickly Winchim created a betting system. The starting point was the 10th floor, and there were even higher options, all the way to the 15th floor. When it came to betting, the fans immediately became excited. "Feng Ling, you actually reached the 15th floor. The 15th floor is too difficult." That's right, the Immortal Execution Tower's difficulty increases at a terrifying rate. The first few floors can be cleared with a bit of equipment, but from the 4th floor onwards, the difficulty increases dramatically. I don't know how many professional players have been blocked on the 9th floor. The difference of one floor often determines the first and second place. Cut the crap and place your bets. I'll bet 12% on Nameless. Don't be too optimistic. Nameless does have high spiritual attack, but once he encounters a monster with high spiritual defense, he won't be able to pass. Feng Lingzi did not care about the discussion inside and urged, "You have 5 minutes to place your bets. Everyone, place your bets quickly. The person who gets the closest will win the prize pool." The number of people placing bets on the options kept increasing, mainly on the 11th, 12th, 10th and 13th floors. The number of people placing bets on them gradually decreased. Feng Lingzi's playstyle immediately attracted many players to the live stream. Since they were all watching the live stream, it was naturally more interesting to be able to play while watching. Lin Sun looked at Li Qiuning and smiled. "Qiuning, are you betting?" Of course. Who knows, I might even win some money." Why would a rich lady like Li Qiuning care about that little bit of money? She charged 2,000 renminbi on the spot, and looked at the various guesses. In the end, she directly placed 2,000 renminbi TBD. "I'll bet 15. "No way. Didn't you see me clearing the 9th floor? My attack is already very high," Lin Sun said. You brother Nameless is nameless." Li Qiuning was somewhat rebellious in her bones. Coupled with her identity, she did not show any mercy to a top expert like Lin Sun. Lin Sun also knew Qiuning's temper. He could only smile. "Nameless is strong, but if you bet 15, you'll definitely lose. Look, no one is betting 15. I'll bet 2. Lin Sun's account had more than 1,000 TBD. He took out 500 renminbi and looked left and right. In the end, he chose the 13th floor, which had fewer people. "I'll show you what professional foresight is." Who's afraid of who? Let's wait and see. On the 10th floor, Lu Chen's time suddenly increased. He used a full 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Seeing this time, the players who bet on the 11th floor were immediately overjoyed. "Haha, my foresight is still accurate. Nameless is probably on the 11th floor. The 10th floor took more than 2 minutes. The 11th floor is probably the limit. I'm making money. Oh yeah." On the 11th floor, the stopwatch was ticking, affecting the hearts of many players. 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. "Nameless Bro, hang in there. I bet on the 12th floor. Come on." He can actually last so long. Strange, he only used 2 minutes on the 11th floor. How can he last for 2 minutes on the 12th floor? It doesn't make sense. 2 minutes and 47 seconds later, Nameless Bro entered the 12th floor. Damn, Nameless Bro is awesome. He's on the 12th floor. Ha ha ha, where's the guy who was talking about making money? I'm sorry, your money is gone. The 12th floor should be the limit. I bet 20. There aren't many people who bet on the 12th floor. It should be at least double. Coincidentally, Nameless Bro used 3 minutes to enter the 13th floor this time. Nameless Bro entered the 13th floor. Lin Sun looked at Li Qiuning proudly. How is it? Are you convinced? This is the foresight of a professional player. Come on, you didn't win. Didn't Nameless Bro enter the 13th floor? Li Qiuning said unconvinced. Lin Sun smiled at Li Qiuning's stubbornness. Can't you see? Previously, John Doe was able to enter the next floor in advance, which means that he cleared the monsters. However, when he reached the 12th floor, he took 3 minutes, which means that he can no longer clear the monsters on the 12th floor. You're right. Nameless did make it through the 12th floor. However, you have to understand that the reason Nameless could pass the previous levels was because he could clear the monsters. Otherwise, if he couldn't clear the monsters, he would be attacked by a large number of monsters. No one can withstand that. Nameless can't clear the monsters now. According to the increasing difficulty of the Celestial Execution Tower, the 13th floor must be very scary. He probably can't make it through. Lin Sun's analysis was very pertinent. He also said a lot of things that normal players couldn't see. Li Qiuning was a little shaken. Could it be that Nameless Bro would really stop at the 13th floor? Section 122, 13th floor of the Celestial Execution Tower. Lu Chen was busy picking up money. Damn, more than 1 silver per monster. No, this can't be wasted. In the previous levels, Lu Chen was too lazy to pick up money. After all, each monster only dropped a few hundred copper coins. However, it was different now. Each monster dropped more than 1 silver coin. If he still didn't pick it up, he would be stupid. Chapter 135. The time spent picking up money was always short. In the blink of an eye, 3 minutes had passed. Lu Chen was a little hesitant. He still had to go to the demon-subduing tower later. He couldn't spend the whole day in the Twin Towers. On the other hand, Lu Chen was also greedy. Let's go to the next floor. There'll be more drops there. Player. Anonymous player level. 13th floor, time used, 00300. Anonymous player entered the 14th floor, time used, 00003. As soon as the news came out, the live stream was filled with cries and cheers. Damn, Nameless Bro actually made it through? Damn, he's too strong. It's already the 13th floor. Is there an end to it? Oh yeah, I bet on the 14th floor. Haha, all your money is mine. Nameless Bro is the best. Haha, he managed to get to the 14th floor with so few people. Sigh, I accidentally made a lot of money. This is so boring. Li Qiuning looked at Lin Sun with a smile. Professional players have good taste. Just now, Lin Sun was still speaking eloquently, but now that guy was scratching his head and frowning. Impossible, how could I be wrong? No way. Brother John Doe didn't do his best to win the friendship before? 3 minutes later, Nameless entered the 15th floor. At this floor, the fans who had placed their bets were no longer focused on whether they could get the prize money at the end. Nameless Bro had already proven his strength in the previous battle. Because of that, Fanglingzi had raised the upper limit to 15. This was already an incredible result. However, Nameless Bro really made it to the 15th floor. Oh my god, Nameless Bro really made it to the 15th floor. Fanglingzi couldn't believe it herself. How did he do it? Nameless Bro has already left everyone in the dust. Bro, give us a way out. Stop. Damn. The other servers are already talking about Nameless Bro's tower. The funny thing is, they're saying that the live stream is fake. To be honest, if I was in the other servers, I wouldn't believe it either. 3 minutes later, Nameless Bro entered the 16th floor. All the streamers were going crazy. This 16th floor, guys, my god, Nameless is a monster. I simply can't imagine what kind of battle is going on in the Immortal Slaying Tower right now. What kind of maneuvers are needed to reach the 16th floor? Brother Nameless' equipment doesn't seem to be the best. This means that his defense is about the same as some of the top players in the local guilds. He might even be weaker than some of the top players. He doesn't even have a single piece of equipment from the underground mine. How did he do it? To be frank, I've been tortured to the point of insanity by Nameless Bro. Big brother, come out quickly. I beg you. You've already stepped on my pride again and again. Save me. Time ticked by, and everyone had already forgotten what the stakes were. What they really wanted to know was the limit. Where is the Nameless limit? Nameless, To what extent do you want to torture him? 3 minutes later, the answer was still not revealed. Nameless entered the 17th floor. Pfft. I'm going to vomit blood. Nameless bro, are you still going to let others play? The other guilds in the 122nd district are already crying in front of the Celestial Mountain. How are we going to break through the 17th floor? At this time, a player's words suddenly attracted the attention of many. Who knows what level Nameless Bro is? That's right, what level is Nameless Bro? Nameless Bro had been hiding his information, so no one knew his level. I don't think anyone knows. When he fought Friendship, he didn't lose any health. Oh my god, I can't stay calm anymore. Not only did he fight 200 people, he didn't even lose any health. Last time when he fought Daehan, his health was also forcefully deducted and his health was not shown. Alright, I don't have the right to know Nameless Bro's level. Looks like there's going to be another big mystery in Jiotian. The first one is the spirit player Mad God. No one has seen this player before. The second one is Nameless Bro's level. No one knows Nameless Bro's level. I just want Nameless Bro to come out quickly. This result is already unbeatable. Don't crush my weak little heart. 18th floor, 19th floor, 20th floor. On the 20th floor, in front of the Celestial Slayer Tower, a golden light flashed, and Nameless Bro finally came out. As soon as he came out, Nameless Bro shook his head and said to himself, "Oh my god, I'm still too weak. The monsters on the 20th floor are so strong. I can't beat them." Outside the tower, thousands of players quietly watched him show off. The newbies did not dare to say anything. When they saw Nameless Bro enter the Demon Slayer Tower, the crowd exploded. What the fuck, is that even human? Nameless Bro said he's too weak. Does the Master Chef sell tofu? I just want to bang my head against the wall and die. What the fuck? The first thing he said was the 20th floor. The monsters below the 20th floor are embarrassing. They don't even deserve to be mentioned by Nameless Bro. I don't want to say anything. Nameless Bro must have put an unimaginable effort to be so strong. I don't want to watch the Demon Slayer Tower anymore. I'm afraid my heart won't be able to take it. Don't stop me, I'm going to level up. Yeah, we're only seeing the time in the tower jumping quickly. What we don't know is that Nameless Bro is trying his best to create a miracle. Other people's gains are based on their hard work. I have to work hard too. In the live stream, the atmosphere suddenly changed. For some reason, the group of people imagined a figure who leveled up day and night. So boring. Luchin sighed. He was sitting in the middle of a group of monsters, being tickled by a group of monsters. Although the Demon Slayer Tower also dropped money, Luchin really did not want to pick it up. It was very annoying to loot the corpses one by one. This was only the 3rd floor of the Demon Slayer Tower, and it would not drop much money. He might as well not pick it up. As for fighting monsters, Luchin was too lazy to do so. It was time to take a break. Fortunately, the tiger monsters were attacking him ferociously. Luchin was also annoyed. Although he did not lose HP, his equipment would lose durability. He did not want to go to the Celestial Mountain to repair for a bit of durability. Xiao Min, possess me and then give me invisibility. Come out and tank. Okay boss. After possessing, Luchin could actively gain invisibility. Although it was only for 100 seconds, the aggro would disappear. At this time, when Xiaomin appeared, she would become the target of focus fire. However, Xiaomin was immune to physical attacks. Luchin was able to reach the 20th floor of the Celestial Slayer Tower by relying on this rascal combination. Leisurely leaning against the corner, Luchin glanced at Xiaomin. Countless numbers of immune floated above her head. He felt relieved and continued to wait for the time to pass. Now there was nothing to watch in the live stream. The top 10 were all streaming his tower. He did not know how a group of people could stare at a single number for more than an hour. Don't this group of people want to level up? Luchin shook his head. Li Qiuning had earned a lot this time. She looked back at Lin Sun with a smile. Hey Guru, let's analyze it. Lin Sun took a deep breath and was speechless for a long time. Analyze my ass. If only I could analyze it. Oh my god, the 20th floor. We are still on the 9th floor. But Nameless has already reached the 20th floor? I suddenly sympathize with Brother Qingtao. A first-rate team in the country is really suppressed by Nameless alone. They can't raise their heads for the rest of their lives. Li Qiuning did not think so. She supported her chin with both hands. And there was something else in her eyes. She looked gently at the back of the figure. Nameless. She thought carefully. This is the only name you admit to. It means that in your heart, you don't want to be remembered. But who doesn't know you? Why do you hide your ID? What level are you? Have you been leveling alone all this time? Do you feel bored? Why can't anyone find out about you? Who are you? Her curiosity towards this person had never been as strong as it was now. Chapter 136. They had spent enough time in the Celestial Mountain today. Lu Chen came out after clearing the 7th floor of the demon-subduing tower. With this result, they should be able to survive for a while. After exiting the demon-subduing tower, Lu Chen transferred the right to receive the rewards from the Celestial Slaying Tower to the red high heels. To Lu Chen, 2,000 points of pure spiritual energy per day was nothing. However, to them this was a huge sum of money. It was also beneficial for the development of the team. The red high heels received a system notification. She hurried to Nameless. Leader, what are you? Lu Chen smiled. You'll be in charge of distributing the soul-gathering pills in the future. The managers of Frenzied Waves ran over. Leader, this is your guild. We never thought, Nameless smiled. I'm not a good leader. Although I founded Frenzied Waves, you guys have contributed much more than me. I've already taken the Spirit Source shards. That's enough. You guys can use these for yourselves. By the way, in this Jiutian game, in the middle and later stages, oh no, from level 25 onwards, the effects of spiritual energy will be highlighted. Don't just focus on leveling up. Pay attention to the cultivation of spiritual energy. This was the first time Nameless had given guidance about the game. With the strength that Nameless had shown, his words were enough to make anyone take it seriously. Alright, I have other things to do. Nameless was about to leave when he suddenly remembered something. Alright, I almost forgot. A system notification appeared in front of Lung Nua. Anonymous player has requested to add you as a friend. Lung Nua was stunned. Leader added me as a friend. Add me as a friend first. Nameless said calmly. I've already donated 10 gold coins to the guild storage. There's a 10-mile voice transmission talisman in the grocery store. You can buy one and keep it with you. If you don't get out of the server, or if anyone bullies you in the future, just send me a voice transmission. Lung Nua stared blankly at Nameless. She was indescribably touched. Leader didn't completely ignore Frenzied Waves. Alright, I'm leaving. Nameless finished dealing with the matters of the Celestial Mountain and turned around. In front of him, a large number of players stood there, watching his every move. Nameless shook his head and walked out of the main city. Sioux City, the headquarters of Fate Guild. The team manager, team leader, and all the team leaders were watching the live stream. Nameless' appearance had alarmed the entire society. His every move could not be ignored. After all, Nameless' strength could very well represent the ceiling of Jiutian. Everyone hurriedly recorded an important piece of information. Nameless, didn't you just say that after level 25, the effect of spiritual force will be prominent? Well, Jiutian is an online game with a Xianxia background after all. Most of the Xianxia novels on the market are just in the guise of Xianxia, doing the same old leveling up routine. But with Tianheng's style, they pursue the extreme in everything. It's very likely that Jiutian will be closer to the setting of the real Xianxia world. That's right. If it's true cultivation, then physical strength is only the foundation. At the higher levels, spiritual energy is the key to determining one's strength. Damn! No wonder the cultivation of spiritual energy is different from the other 3 dimensions. Strength, agility, and physique will increase as long as you level up, but spiritual energy is the most special. The drop rate from monsters is very low, so you have to cultivate it yourself. So it's the key. Wait, did you guys notice a problem? Why does Nameless know so much about the later stages? This person's unintentional words caused the heated discussion to fall into silence. Why is he so clear about the future? The only answer is, he has already passed that stage. Could it be that Nameless is already level 25? The EXP requirement for level 20 is already an astronomical figure. How can his level be so high? I think the scariest thing is that his level might be higher than level 25. Luchen left the Celestial Mountain and found a secluded place to return to Ren AI Peak. This time, he spent a few hours on the Celestial Mountain and felt that it was a waste. The record of the Tiger King's cave had been broken, but Luchen was too lazy to update the record. The key was that the price of the materials in the Tiger King's cave had dropped drastically and could not be sold for much. From the internet, he found that the underground mine would drop 3 pieces of blue equipment, including a very good level 20 blue weapon. Now that the big guilds were actively farming the underground mine instance dungeon, Luchen weighed the pros and cons. The attributes of the blue weapon Lost Longsword were not as good as Tiger Sob, and Tiger Sob's special effect was a perfect combination with Great Ravager Sweep. Luchen could not change it. The other 2 pieces of blue equipment were not that strong. The level difference is too big. If I were to farm, the EXP would be almost negligible. The key is to see if there are any hidden bosses. Luchen thought about it and decided to farm again. Thinking of this, Luchen set off from Ren AI Peak and headed to the underground mine. When he passed by the foot of Ren AI Peak, Luchen checked the materials collected by Ba Wang and the others. They were almost there. I should be able to build my instance dungeon this afternoon. I'm actually looking forward to it. Level 20 instance dungeon, underground mine. There were many guild players gathered here. This was currently the gold leveling spot for high-level players. There were not many high-level players in the Celestial Mountain main city, so this was the place with the most players. In front of the underground mine, most of the players were in groups within the guild. There were also many people who were looking for teammates, because there were fewer people. The guilds and the solo players were divided into 2 large areas. In the solo players area, there were endless shouts. Are there any pharmacists? We're missing a 2-star pharmacist. The equipment will be distributed according to class. Someone with DPS would be best. An explosives expert would be best. A sword spirit cultivator would also be fine. At least someone with a dark iron sword. An experienced spiritualist or puppeteer who knows how to pull aggro. Damn, that colored pen just pulled aggro and wiped twice. How did it get to such a high level? On the other side of the guild area, many guilds were researching how to challenge the instance dungeon. The current record is 24 minutes 38 seconds. It's almost the limit. Wouldn't it be faster to use pugilists instead of monks? Pugilists have higher movement speed. No, there can only be 1 tank in the team. Otherwise, the damage won't be enough. Monk's Golden Light Protection has better defense than Pugilist's Golden Cauldron Imperial Bell. They won't die so easily. Luchen didn't want to cause any commotion. Since these people were busy, he took advantage of the chaos to walk to the Tiger King's cave and entered the instance dungeon. Once he entered the instance dungeon, Luchen looked around and didn't see a single monster. The monsters here are mine zombies. Don't tell me they also crawled out from the ground. Although the underground mine was a level 20 instance dungeon, it was smaller than the Tiger King's cave. There was only 1 path in the mine, leading to the middle area. A large number of mine zombies would spawn there. Hence, the underground mine was also called Zombie Cave by the players. Luchen didn't care too much and ran toward the central mine. Behind him, a group of rotting zombies crawled out from the ground and chased after him. When he reached the central mine, Luchen ran around the area. A large number of zombies crawled out from the ground. 2 of them were huge and terrifying creatures that were about 4 to 5 meters tall. They let out hoarse sounds and pounced toward Luchen with the zombies. Luchen shook his head. The boss is only 2. As expected, there's no point. Let's get rid of him. Let's have a few hidden bosses. Chapter 137. Great Ravager Sweep. Luchen waved out several sword chi, and the surrounding zombies couldn't last more than 5 rounds under a series of spiritual power damage, and fell to the ground one after another. Killed zombie worker, level 22 elite. Captured 120 spiritual energy. Looking at the meager reward, Luchen could only shake his head helplessly. Damn it, I'll only do it once. If I get equipment, I'll never come here again. Even the two zombie kings only gave him a little more than 1,000 experience points. Jotian's control of low-level rewards was simply outrageous. Ding! Your party has cleared the underground mine, level 20, instance dungeon in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Congratulations, your party has set a new record. Your record will be displayed on the instance dungeon clear leaderboard. Lu Chen had always activated the party mode for this kind of instance dungeon. It was just that he was the only one in the party. However, the system still thought that Lu Chen had cleared the instance dungeon in the form of a party. Your instance dungeon clear time is within 6 minutes. Your party's frenzied killing has angered a sleeping creature. If you choose to continue the challenge, your instance dungeon clear time will continue to be extended. If you leave the instance dungeon, your instance dungeon clear time will be your party's final instance dungeon clear time. Damn it, there really is a hidden boss. Lu Chen was overjoyed. Speaking of which, we actually have to enter for 6 minutes to activate this boss? This requirement is a bit high. If I didn't have Great Ravager Sweep, it would probably be difficult to complete. The current record in the outside world was more than 24 minutes and a half. According to their instance dungeon clear speed, they probably wouldn't be able to reach this hidden boss. The requirements are so harsh. Alright, I hope you won't disappoint me. It would be best if you could drop something useful. Lu Chen's answer was without any hesitation. Continue the challenge. Abyss Zombie King is on its way. Preparation time 0:04:59. With 5 minutes of preparation time, Lu Chen waited in the cave obediently. The zombie corpses on the ground looked disgusting. All of them were missing limbs and their bodies were rotten. It was even more realistic than in the movies. I killed them too quickly just now. I didn't seem to see their attack methods. Forget it. Why would I want to know their attack methods? These things are so ugly. Anyway, I won't merge with their bloodline no matter what. Lu Chen firmly believed that there was no doubt about this. By the way, Xiaomin said that the souls of the dead creatures in the dungeon would be stored. Why can't I feel it? With nothing to do, Lu Chen began to look at the structure of the instance dungeon. His instance dungeon materials were about to be collected. He wondered what his future instance dungeon would look like. Not long after, the underground of the central mine suddenly shook. Lu Chen could clearly feel that the entire dungeon was shaking. They're finally here. Lu Chen drew Tiger Sob and prepared to face the enemy. However, 5 minutes had passed, but that abyss zombie still hadn't appeared. What the hell? Where is he? As soon as his voice fell, Lu Chen suddenly felt that the ground beneath his feet was empty, and the ground beneath his feet suddenly collapsed. Then a huge arm shot out from the ground and grabbed his ankle. Fuck. This guy is down there. Lu Chen's ankle was grabbed. Although he wasn't injured, he couldn't move. He could only watch as the ground around him collapsed. Then, a monster that was 8 to 9 meters tall crawled out from the ground. This guy was completely black. It was in human form, and only wore a pair of tattered pants. The flesh on its body didn't rot. Instead, it was abnormally strong and muscular. Its face was ferocious. Its facial features were dislocated. A mouth full of sharp teeth took up half of its face. Its eyes were bloodshot and protruding. Fuck, this monster is so ugly. When he saw its level, Lu Chen was stunned. Level 30 Abyss Zombie King, Diamond Grade Hidden Boss. Lu Chen definitely didn't expect that a level 30 hidden boss would live in a level 20 instance dungeon. This level was actually 2 levels higher than his. Fuck, no wonder the activation conditions are so harsh. It's actually a level 30 big boss. What an unexpected surprise. At this time, Lu Chen was being controlled by the other party. There was an abnormal status partial bind on his body, and there was no indication of the duration of the bind. If he was caught by the other party, it would be very dangerous no matter how much HP he had. Lu Chen hurriedly used Tiger Sob to attack the other party's wrist. Fuck, let go of me. Suddenly, the abyss zombie activated its skill and threw Lu Chen out, smashing him against the cave wall. Minus 4,000 special attack. Throwing collision. Minus 617 external bleeding. Lu Chen's partial bind was removed, but there were suddenly 3 more abnormal statuses. Panic. Physical defense reduced by 20%. All meridians blocked, unable to use skills. Movement speed reduced by 40%. Duration 10 seconds. External bleeding. Loses 3% HP every second. Duration 10 seconds. Fuck, it's so strong. This guy was a level 30 diamond grade boss. If he didn't include Cenobus, the storyline boss, this guy's strength was definitely the most terrifying guy Liu Chen had encountered so far. Moreover, its attack was almost unavoidable. It directly jumped out from the ground, grabbed him, and gave him a good beating. It also gave him 3 debuffs while it was at it. Panic might be the defense reduction from the aura, similar to 8-Head and the others. However, the blocked meridians and external bleeding seemed to be caused by the overdraft collision just now. Liu Chen was now level 28, and his HP was 20568. The more HP he had, the more HP he would lose. There was also the throwing collision, which seemed to be a fixed damage, and he lost 4000 HP. Liu Chen had so much HP, but one hit took out 4 of his HP. Fuck, that's a bit strong. If other teams had come to attack him, the tank might have been killed in an instant. Roar. The abyss zombie ran toward Liu Chen. This guy was so big that it could cover a few meters in one step. Fuck, you really think I'm afraid of you? Come on. Liu Chen stopped running. The main reason was that even if he ran, he might not be able to outrun others. The blocked meridians in his body made his movement speed even slower than normal people. Although he couldn't use skills, Liu Chen could still use normal attacks. Liu Chen took advantage of the opportunity and quickly swung his sword 3 times. -407, -617 poison, -617 poison, -2216, triple critical, -617 poison, -1450, double critical, -617 poison, -617 poisoned, -1417, double critical, -617, -617. Great Ravager's sweep was not Liu Chen's strongest attack. Perhaps the total damage was high, but in terms of burst, his physical attack was still more terrifying. This was still without activating Fierce Tiger Descends the Mountain, and he had already dealt 7,775 damage. However, Liu Chen was still very surprised by this damage. Fuck, my physical attack is over 1,000, and I can only deal 400 damage without a critical hit. This guy's defense is so high, and his HP is also high, more than 60,000 HP. Tough and meaty. It even has crowd control. After being attacked by Liu Chen, the abyss zombie suddenly burrowed into the ground and disappeared. Fuck, what's the meaning of this? Don't tell me it ran away. Liu Chen thought for a moment. The boss probably wouldn't run away. It was very likely that it was going to repeat its old trick. He had only lost less than 8,000 HP after one wave of attacks from the boss. If he had to fight 8 waves, the abyss zombie's attacks would directly take away a quarter of his HP. If this continued, it seemed like he wouldn't be able to beat it. This won't be easy. Don't tell me I'm going to die in a level 20 dungeon. Liu Chen's mind raced. How do I do this? How do I do this? Chapter 138. Outside the underground mine instance dungeon, there was a sudden violent tremor. All the players gathered there were shocked. What's going on? Did you receive a system message? In the national server, the underground mine instance dungeon is temporarily suspended. A team of players is challenging the hidden boss, Abyss Zombie. The system will decide whether to open the second floor of the underground mine instance dungeon based on the result of this challenge. The group of people looked at each other when they saw the system message. This dungeon really has a hidden boss? Someone actually activated it. Who is it? How long did they take? How many minutes did it take to activate the hidden boss? There's a second floor of the underground mine instance dungeon? It can't be. We've done it more than 10 times, and we haven't seen any other exits. The earthquake just now was only in our server. That means that the team that challenged the dungeon is from our server? Who is it? Among the many teams that were challenging the dungeon, the 5 members of a Dragonhawk team were very depressed. One of them was Liu Chen's younger sister Lu Yi. Who is it? If he wants to challenge, then so be it. Why is the dungeon paused? I still need to hurry up and level up. During this period of time, Lu Yi and her teammates have been frantically leveling up. They really did not pay attention to the outside world. After working hard for so long, their small team, which did not have any support, had finally slowly become one of the top teams in the reserve team. It was very likely that they would obtain the qualifications to enter the main team in the guild's internal tournament tomorrow. But at this critical moment, the most important method for them to level up and get equipment, the underground mine instance dungeon, was closed? Don't worry. Lu Yi's friend Little Mei comforted her. If the underground mine instance dungeon in the national server is temporarily suspended, then it's actually fair. Everyone can't level up and get equipment. Moreover, if we can open the second floor, we might be able to get new equipment. Lu Yi nodded. All right, now they could only wait for that guy to finish his challenge. We can only wait. But I'm a little curious. I know all the top teams in our server. Who is it that activated the hidden boss? Another member of the team, Dragon Ascending Jianghu, said. Actually, it's not hard to guess. I heard that there's someone from the foreign server who didn't activate the hidden boss even after 10 minutes. That means that there's only one person who can activate the boss. Who is it? You two are always leveling up and not paying attention to the big events in the game. Who else could it be? Of course it's nameless. When the challenge ends, I might be able to see him. This boss was very cunning, and its skill cooldown was also surprisingly fast. It did not give Lu Chen any chance to deal damage. Lu Chen was still bleeding from his external wounds. If he was scratched again, half of his health would be gone. I can't let it catch me. At least Lu Chen was clear on this point. He started to move as fast as he could. The ground beneath Lu Chen's feet was rapidly collapsing. Something underground was chasing after him. No, my movement speed is too slow. I'll be caught. Xiaomin, turn invisible. Lu Chen ran, and suddenly disappeared from where he was. Lu Chen didn't know if this method would work, so he could only take a gamble. Hiding in the corner, Lu Chen concentrated on the ground. As soon as there was any movement, he would quickly retreat. However, the thing underground did not seem to be chasing after him. At the same time, Lu Chen's blocked meridians and external bleeding statuses disappeared. Let's see if I can force this guy out. Lu Chen secretly gathered strength and swept Great Ravager. After a while, he released several sword auras into the field. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 7 to 8 thick sword auras filled the entire central mining area. However, the sword auras did not force the Abyss Zombie out. Instead, Lu Chen was locked onto by the Abyss Zombie after he revealed himself. Damn it, I really can't attack him when he's hiding underground. This time, Xiaomin's invisibility was still on cooldown. Lu Chen only ran a few steps before the thing underground got close to him. Next, that guy would definitely reach out and grab Lu Chen's ankle. Without any movement skills, Lu Chen could not escape at all. Try this. Change skin, headless flying corpse. The headless flying corpse's appearance had two major characteristics. First, it was headless. To be precise, its head was not on the body. Second, it was flying corpse. Its body was slightly suspended in midair. Very quickly, Lu Chen transformed into a headless flying corpse. This transformation directly caused the Abyss Zombie's attack judgment to change. For example, if a flying unit attacked it, its skill would naturally be ineffective against it. As Lu Chen's feet did not touch the ground, the Abyss Zombie determined that he was not a land creature, and directly came out of the ground. Haha, it came out on its own, Lu Chen said in surprise. He did not expect that the trick he came up with at the last minute would actually work. As long as he could break the opponent's trick, he would not be afraid of it even if he faced it head-on. Damn it, hiding in the ground sneakily and still recovering HP. In a short while, the Abyss Zombie recovered 2000 HP, which was much faster than normal HP recovery. One could imagine how terrifying the healer's healing would be if other teams were to defeat this boss. 5000 HP after breaking out of the ground, it would do it again in such a short time. Fortunately, Lu Chen was no longer afraid of this guy. The Abyss Zombie's move was called Moving Tombstone. Without this move, Lu Chen's meridians wouldn't be blocked, and he wouldn't be bleeding from external injuries. Both sides immediately engaged in hand-to-hand combat. "You damn zombie, let's see if you can still die." Lu Chen's sword dealt 6,000 to 7,000 damage, while the opponent's slap only dealt less than 600 damage to Lu Chen. The Zombie King finally had a weakness. Its attack was not too high. During the fight, Lu Chen also touched the Zombie King's attack. Panic was the Zombie King's aura. This was not wrong. External bleeding was indeed caused by throwing collision. However, meridians blocked was not caused by throwing collision. It was more like there was a certain chance of this debuff after being attacked. Therefore, the Zombie King's attack could be understood as a normal attack that had a certain chance of blocking the opponent's meridians. A bit strong. It can reduce speed and silence. Lu Chen coldly snorted. "Unfortunately, you will still die after encountering me." Fierce Tiger descends the mountain. With a combo of 9 hits, Lu Chen dealt 9,000 plus damage, and finally killed the Abyss Zombie King. Killed Abyss Zombie King. Level 30 Diamond level hidden boss. Obtained 19,000 aura. Obtained 2 rank 6 talent fragments. Obtained 2 evolution points. Ding! Obtained Zombie King mask, level 30 purple equipment. Soul subduing talisman, level 30 purple equipment. Sturdy mining uniform, level 20 blue equipment. Zombie King powder, purple material. Dungeon recruitment order, special item. Underground mine second floor key. Opens the second floor of the underground mine. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. This guy dropped a lot of things. However, he was not in a hurry to look at the purple equipment. Instead, he looked at another item. In Jiutian, there was a hidden setting. When a player had a special ability, the corresponding item would be dropped. For example, Lu Chen had the ability to evolve. Therefore, when he fought monsters, he would drop evolution materials, but others would not. Naturally, there were also items that could be obtained by all classes. For example, the ghost pet Xiaomin Lu Chen was not a spirit exorcist, but he could use it. There was also the ancient blood, an ancient fragment. Lu Chen needed them for evolution, but other players could use them as well. Therefore, they would appear in the quest rewards in the Stone Gate world. According to this setting, there was an item that immediately attracted Lu Chen's interest. Dungeon recruitment order? Let's see. Chapter 139. Obtained the right to recruit the Abyss Zombie King in the Instance Dungeon. The item really said so. It's really for the Instance Dungeon. Then I can treat this guy as the Instance Dungeon boss. Thinking of this, Lu Chen was in a hurry to return to Benevolence Peak and complete the Instance Dungeon. There are still a few pieces of equipment. Let's see what they are like. Zombie King mask, level 30 purple equipment. Physical defense, 36 spiritual defense, 14 strength 81, agility 94, physique 100 special effect, spirit gathering meridian seal. Normal attacks have a 10% chance of sealing the opponent's meridian circulation, causing the meridian blockage effect. After this effect, the opponent will not be able to use skills for 5 seconds, and their movement speed will be reduced by 15% stackable. Damn, these are the attributes of a level 30 purple equipment? That's too strong. My physique has soared to 3 digits. So the meridian blockage just now was a special effect of the equipment. Lu Chen finally understood. Speaking of which, if that guy uses it, it's definitely not just a chance. The speed reduction effect and the duration are even stronger. It's the same equipment that dropped. Alright, the effect might be different if the boss used it, or if he used it. Although the attributes aren't as good as the boss, this special effect is still very strong. Once hit, it will be silenced and speed reduced. It's simply a nightmare for those fragile professions. Fragile professions? Lu Chen thought for a while. It seemed that all professions were fragile professions in his eyes now. Lu Chen was still very satisfied with this level 30 purple equipment. The only downside was that he couldn't equip it now. The attributes are pretty good. I'm only a little over level 28 now. It won't take long for me to reach level 30. I'll be able to use it then. The Soul Subduing Talisman was actually a low yellow level skill for talisman masters. Seeing that he couldn't use it, Lu Chen threw it into his backpack and sold it at the trading area in the future. Level 20 blue equipment. The sturdy miner's uniform had higher attributes than the Shadow Tempest, but Lu Chen preferred the 2 special effects of the Shadow Tempest and didn't plan to change it. The Zombie King powder was a material that could be used to refine monsters, carve talismans, etc. He threw it into his backpack. The last one was the 2nd level key. Click to use. Activate the 2nd level of the underground mines. Level 25. Level 25. That's too low. I'm not going to fight today. I'm going back to do my dungeon. After tapping the key, Lu Chen immediately exited the instance dungeon. All the players in the server received a push notification from the system at the same time. The Abyssal Corpse King guarding the underground mine level 20 has been killed. The Abyssal Mine level 25 has officially opened. In Area 122, the players who were surrounding the underground mine were waiting for the dungeon to reopen. When they received the message, they immediately started discussing. Damn, Nameless is really strong. He soloed the underground mine and even killed the hidden boss. Is there a dungeon that he can't clear? Can we go to the Abyss Mines? Of course not. It's a level 25 instance dungeon. Who can do it now? This mine is actually so deep. There can't be another 3 or 4 levels, right? Then where does it lead to? Lu Yi also saw this message at this time. She suddenly had an indescribable feeling. We've fought so hard for so long, yet that Nameless cleared it so easily. He even defeated the hidden boss. What kind of stats does he have? Little May smiled and said, You think you're the only one who knows? Everyone wants to know. Right, he's coming out soon. Just in time to see this legendary war god of Wuxia. Little May pulled Lu Yi and rushed to the entrance of the cave with the crowd. The crowd had already surrounded the entrance of the cave. A white light flashed and everyone stared at the light circle at the entrance of the dungeon. However, after the white light passed, there was no one inside. Where is he? Why didn't anything appear? Where's Bro Nameless? What's going on? Is there a bug? Did he get any new equipment? Lu Chen was standing in the center of the light circle. Unfortunately, the others could not see him. Because he was invisible. He already knew that a group of people was blocking him at the entrance. It was better to avoid so many people if he wanted to return to the territory as soon as possible. Just as Lu Chen was about to leave, he saw the silly girl in the crowd. She was stretching her neck and looking at the light circle with a puzzled expression. Lu Chen stopped and sneaked in front of Lu Yi. Haha, you can't see me, right? This girl's equipment was pretty good now. The dark gold sword was probably the best weapon outside of the core of the team. She had 2 pieces of Tiger King equipment and a mining uniform. The mining uniform had high attributes and a special effect that increased strength for a period of time. For normal players, it was more useful than Windstorm and Night Demon. It could help them clear dungeons. So many people would choose this blue equipment. What's this silly girl's level? Lu Chen could not see her level. After thinking about it, he lowered the ratio of strength to the lowest and secretly hit her. Seeing her health drop, he could see her upper health. This way he could deduce her level. Who knew that the sneaky hit would have serious consequences? -14, -617 poison, -617 poison, -88, triple critical hit, -617 poison, -617 poisoned. In a moment of carelessness, Lu Chen dealt 2,500 damage to Lu Yi. It was a triple critical hit. Her health dropped by half. Lu Yi's HP was dropping rapidly. Aya, who hit me? The silly girl did not know that she was poisoned by the 7-step poison. She was still looking around to see who was attacking her. Lu Chen's damage was the initial damage. There was more to come. -617 poison. -678 poison. -617 poisoned. -740 poisoned. Lu Chen was on the verge of collapsing when he saw his HP drop. Fuck, don't drop anymore. Don't drop anymore. He wanted to tell the silly girl to stop moving. Every time she moved, her damage would increase by 10%. Actually, even without that 10%, Lu Yi could not take it. 3 seconds later, Lu Yi died. Fuck. No. Lu Yi. Sister. Lu Chen was so scared that his face was distorted. He almost caught up with the Abyss Zombie King. He killed Louis? If Louis knew about this, he would be dead for sure. Little May quickly picked up the equipment that Louis dropped. What happened? Why did she suddenly die? Who is it? Who is attacking? Lu Chen looked at the angry members of Lu Yi's team in horror. He could not stay here any longer. He had to run. After running to a place where there was no one, Lu Chen's stealth time was up. Letting out a long sigh of relief, Lu Chen shivered in fear. I can't let that girl know about this. Otherwise she will kill me. My dear sister, I really didn't mean it. Fortunately, the equipment was picked up by your friend. Otherwise, I would be dead for sure. Letting out a long sigh, Lu Chen returned to the city and returned to Ren AI Peak. The dungeon materials were ready. It was time to build his dungeon. Build the dungeon. Position. Block the entrance of Ren AI Peak. Under Ren AI Peak, a large number of building materials were quickly assembled. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes and waited patiently. I have to do a good job with my warehouse and synthesis base. Chapter 140. According to Lu Chen's request, the system built it at the foot of Ren AI Peak. This way, most of the way down Ren AI Peak would be blocked, making it easier to defend and harder to attack. The three idiots collected materials for 10 days, and the system built the dungeon in minutes. In front of a mountain that had just appeared, there was an unstable energy gate. Lu Chen stepped in. There was only one curved passage inside the dungeon. It was not very long, about the same as one of the three paths in the Tiger King's cave. There was not a single monster inside. At the end of the passage was a relatively empty area. It should be the boss room. This is my dungeon? Lu Chen was a little excited. He had never had his own dungeon in a public game. There are no monsters here. It seems that I have to set it myself. Lu Chen opened the operation panel and opened the personal dungeon option. A big menu popped up. Dungeon, solipsistic personal dungeon. Dungeon scale, single dungeon, level 2 army hall required to upgrade. Dungeon entry requirement, not set. Dungeon level, level 10 upgradable. Dungeon unit setup, not set. Player dungeon profit, 1. 8 to 2 2x. Dungeon hidden boss, none. Dungeon soul essence condensation ratio, 1/10,000 death unit. Dungeon soul essence storage, 0/300000. Dungeon ranking establishment, not set. It seemed that there were many things that Lu Chen had to set up himself. Lu Chen looked at the dungeon scale first. Single dungeon. The dungeon area is very small. Player dungeon profit is low. Dungeon units are weak. Only one dungeon boss can be set. The highest drop is 2 pieces of blue equipment. Only one player is allowed to enter the dungeon at a time. Dungeon spirit energy gathering is slow. Maximum 100,000 challenges per day. Soul essence condensation ratio. Total storage is low. It seemed that there were many factors that affected the dungeon scale. There were even challenge limits. Obviously, from Lu Chen's point of view, the bigger the dungeon scale, the better. However, the dungeon was actually linked to the level of the army hall. Now Lu Chen's army hall was only level 1. It seemed that it still lacked something to upgrade to level 2. The dungeon scale could not be changed for the time being. If normal players don't have the army hall, doesn't that mean they won't be able to level up even if they have dungeons? Lu Chen gave it some thought. That might not be the case. Back then, he had only been able to create an army because he had established a guild in the wild. It wasn't difficult to fulfill this condition. There were so many players in the world, and perhaps some of them would do the same. Since the scale of the instance dungeon could not be changed for the time being, they would have to look at the instance dungeon entry conditions. There were 4 options. 1 free entry, 2 copper coins and 3 entry is charged. 4 mixed mode. Seeing this, Lu Chen was shocked. You can charge a fee. Fuck. I'm only in a single player dungeon now, and the limit for a day's challenge is 100,000. Even if it's just 1 yuan per person, it's still a lot of money. There was nothing special about free entry. Each person could enter 3 times a day for free. The in-game currency was set according to the dungeon's scale and level. The system default was that the first entry was free, but the second and third entries would cost 100 copper coins. Furthermore, each person could only challenge the dungeon 3 times a day. Lu Chen looked at the charging mode. Charging mode. In order to maintain the balance of the game, and at the same time to ensure that the manpower and material resources used in designing the dungeon are reported accordingly, the rules are as follows. The first entry is free, but the second and third entries can be set as charging 1 yuan. The amount charged increases with the dungeon's level. Tianxing is quite cautious. He's probably afraid that the players will charge for the dungeon and destroy the game environment. The charging mode still allows 2 free challenges. Even the third time will be very cheap. But even if there are only 60,000 times, that's still 60,000 per day. That's not bad. This was much more stable than farming for equipment. The last option was free. The first entry would be free, the second entry would cost 100 copper coins, and the third entry would cost 1 yuan. Lu Chen thought about it carefully, and finally chose the mixed mode. Now the main way for players to earn money was through the 2 towers. Looking at Tianxing's stingy manner, perhaps the copper coins would be of great use in the future. If it's really useless, I can still sell it in the future. Players need copper coins to level up their professions. Soon Lu Chen's guess was confirmed. To level up the dungeon, one needed the game currency. However, it was not copper coins but gold coins. Level 15 requires 10 gold coins. Level 20 requires 50 gold coins. Luckily, I've been to the 2 towers before. Lu Chen looked at his backpack. He now had more than 80 gold coins. Level 15 is too low. I'll level up to 20. After leveling up the dungeon, Lu Chen looked back at the dungeon entry conditions. Under the mixed mode, the first entry was free, the second entry cost 300 copper coins, and the third entry cost 3 yuan. His income had tripled. He could earn 90,000 in a day. Damn, this is definitely not a loss. I'll be able to break even soon. After setting all these, the next step was to set up the dungeon unit. The system actually gave him a brand new model. Because it was a single-player dungeon, the wild monsters would not be too strong. The swift leopard had the tiger demon's combo attack. The cave barbarians knock on the mountain to scare the tiger could reduce defense. And the nether blue willow. The wisp was all spiritual attack. Leopard. It has low HP. After choosing the wild monster, Lu Chen saw about 50 swift leopards moving back and forth in the tunnel. All of them were level 20. The player's income must be the highest. Otherwise, who would fight it? It would be 2 times. Let me see. The leopard's EXP is 1760. Damn. The EXP is even higher than the nightmare spirit. It doesn't matter. Players can only fight it 3 times anyway. If it's higher, then so be it. I'll use the abyss zombie for the boss. I'll lower the level to 20 and lower the attributes to 50%. Please choose the dungeon and the boss drops. Wild monsters can drop a maximum of 3 items. Bosses can drop a maximum of 6 items. In the following options, 2 out of 3 for green equipment, 2 out of 3 for blue equipment, and 7 out of 14 for equipment. However, the system specifically mentioned that blue equipment and some rare equipment could only be dropped by bosses. Lu Chen looked at it. For green equipment he chose leg guards and wrist guards. For blue equipment, he chose necklaces and boots. These 2 equipment were not available at the moment, so they were more attractive. As for equipment, I'll choose a few profession skill books and put them in. They all need these things. I'll just put in a few materials. Leaderboard rewards. I'll put in materials too. After finally completing the dungeon, when Lu Chen looked at his personal dungeon again, the originally empty dungeon was no longer the same. There were swift leopards patrolling back and forth in the tunnel. The distance between them was not large, but if one paid attention to their positioning, they could fight them one by one. In the boss room, the level 20 mini abyss zombie was valiantly walking back and forth, as if it was waiting for players to come. It's done. Brothers, we can open for business now. Chapter 141. Lu Chen's dungeon had been completed. With the popularity of Jiutian, Lu Chen did not need any publicity at all. All he had to do was wait for it to blossom. Let's level up to 31st. I want to go to a level 30 main city. After saying that, Lu Chen led Xiao Min into the depths of the forest. 10 minutes later, a small team appeared at the foot of Mount Benevolence. They had the same prefix, and were all members of the Stellaris Guild. Why is there a door there? Yeah, I remember this place. The last time I was here, it was said that this place was surrounded by a layer of spiritual shield, and couldn't be entered. But this place doesn't have this rock mass. It looks like a dungeon. Let's go take a look. The few of them walked to the dungeon door doubtfully. It's really a dungeon. Damn, we found a hidden dungeon. The team leader, Stellaris Sagittarius, tried to touch the dungeon, and a system prompt appeared in his vision. Solipsistic's personal dungeon, level 20. This dungeon is a single-player dungeon. You already have a team and cannot enter. Sagittarius was shocked. Solipsistic's personal dungeon? No way, this dungeon was built by Solipsistic? The others looked at the team leader's confused face and followed him to touch the dungeon door. They also received the same system prompt. Damn, this is a Solipsistic's dungeon? Which Solipsistic? Is he from our guild? How do you all know him? Xiaolan, you don't know Solipsistic? That guy is even more mysterious than Nameless God of War. Yeah, Nameless wasn't famous when he monopolized the trading area at the beginning of the game. I was wondering why Mad God disappeared. It turns out that he had a big move and built his own dungeon. Damn, this is definitely big news. Sagittarius was very nervous. This discovery was very significant, and even related to the development of the guild. Inform the team leader immediately, and ask them to come quietly. We'll broadcast it. It will definitely increase the guild's popularity. At 7:28 p.m., a guild that wasn't very famous started a live broadcast on the official website. The name of the live broadcast room was very eye-catching. Explosive. District 122's Star River Association has discovered a brand new dungeon. Traces of the Mad God have been discovered. These two posts instantly caused the popularity of the live stream to skyrocket. A large number of players flooded into the live stream, wanting to know more about the situation. The Star River Association was also very cunning. At the start, they even hid the exact coordinates of the dungeon and started a live broadcast of the dungeon clearing. Newcomer, don't be anxious. We'll start streaming this dungeon immediately. Right now our Talisman Formation Master is using the buff. I'll give the view to our leader, and let him show everyone the entire process of this exploration. The Star River Emperor had already made his preparations. He had used all the buffs and potions he could. The live stream was in chaos. It's really a new dungeon. Where is this? Where is Mad God? Didn't you say you found Mad God? What a clickbait. Mad God has disappeared for so long. How could he suddenly appear again? District 122 has a nameless brother. How could Mad God be in this server? The Star River Emperor didn't care about these comments. After everything was ready, he took a deep breath and touched the door of the dungeon. Don't say we're clickbait. Look at the name of the dungeon. Solipsistic Personal Dungeon. Seeing this name, the live stream instantly exploded. Damn this. Wait a minute, what's a personal dungeon? This dungeon is Solipsistic's? Is this Mad God's ID? Yes, it's Mad God. Other fakes have all sorts of symbols, but Mad God's ID doesn't have any symbols. Fuck, Mad God has disappeared for so long. And he actually created a personal dungeon. Mad God is going to make a comeback. Let's go in and see what it's like. I've never heard of a personal dungeon before. The Star River Emperor glanced at the comments. As expected, the direction of the discussion had changed. Now the fans couldn't wait to see him create a new dungeon. The number of viewers in the live stream had already reached 8 million. In the future, the Star River Emperor could be considered a guild with a name. Everyone look, this is a personal dungeon. You can't enter it when you're in a party. Alright, I'll enter the dungeon now. I've never seen the monsters here before. They're all swift leopards, level 20 dungeon monsters. I wonder what the rewards are like. The Star River Emperor tried to kill one. The process wasn't too difficult. He also had a buff, so he was able to kill it with only half of his health left. Killed Swift Leopard, level 20 elite. Captured 1760 Heaven and Earth Aura. Extracted 1 aura. Ding, obtained beast bone *2. Fuck, did you guys see that? 1760 experience. The Star River Emperor was a little anxious. The monsters here aren't hard to kill, but the experience is really high. Did you guys see my experience bar? It clearly moved just now. The drops are also pretty good. The first one dropped a beast bone. This is a material for leveling up the puppeteer class. It's not available anywhere else. ESD Xiao Yao and the others were also watching the live broadcast. Discovering a new dungeon was even more important for professional guilds like them. They had to pay attention. 1760 experience. This is even higher than the underground mine. Yeah, the most important thing is that this monster can be cleared by a single person. If one person can enjoy the experience alone, leveling up would be too awesome. The drop rate is also pretty good. The Star River Emperor killed 3 monsters and dropped 2 class materials. Where is this dungeon? There were a total of 50 normal monsters. The Star River Emperor took about half an hour to clear them all, and his experience had risen to 87,500 points. There's one more boss. Abyss Zombie King? Level 20. Let me see if I can defeat it. This Abyss Zombie King had been weakened a lot by Lu Chen. It was only level 20, and its 3D was directly reduced by half. However, the Star River Emperor still had a hard time fighting it. It took him 3 revivals to defeat it. Killed Abyss Zombie King, level 20 single-player dungeon boss. Captured 4,800 aura of all things. Obtained item 100 Beasts Necklace, level 20 blue. Obtained item Crystal of Prophecy, yellow level Skill of the Prophet. Obtained Beast Tooth *2. Obtained Beast Skin *3. The Star River Emperor could no longer remain calm. Fuck, it's a blue necklace. Comrades, it's a blue necklace. There's even a yellow level Skill of the Prophet. This is a skill dropped by a boss. Over 90,000 experience points, a blue necklace, and a class book. This dungeon is too awesome. The Star River Emperor quickly exited the dungeon and clicked on it again. This dungeon didn't have a reset time, but this time, he had to pay 300 copper coins. The second time requires 300 copper coins? No problem, this amount of money is nothing. The Star River Emperor was excitedly clearing the dungeon, but when he was resting, he glanced at the live stream and discovered that the number of viewers in the live stream was like an avalanche. Everyone had fled. At the same time, in the wilderness of each district, a large number of players appeared. Thunderous Heavens was currently organizing members to sweep the map, looking for the dungeon that had just appeared. The Star River Association was too sneaky. They still hadn't revealed the dungeon's coordinates. They couldn't wait any longer. Mad God's Dungeon? Where is it? It should be around here. The background of the Star River Emperor's livestream is here. We've already explored this area. Thunderstorm was suddenly stunned. If this is Mad God's personal dungeon, then it's possible that it only exists in District 122. This dungeon will definitely cause a huge commotion in the entire server. We have to find the dungeon's location quickly. Inform all the guild leaders to change their IP and enter District 122. Chapter 142. When the Thunder Guild gathered and rushed to District 122, they found that it was already crowded with people. In Wuxia, they had to face the reality that no matter how good you were, there would always be a group of people ahead of you. This was great. They didn't even have to look for the dungeon location. Wherever there were more people, the dungeon would be there. Total number of dungeon challenges today: 1699/100000. This dungeon actually had a limit on the number of challenges. This was even worse. One dungeon gave 90,000 experience, and it also dropped a blue necklace and a class book. The benefits were too good. With such tempting benefits on the other side, there was already some chaos in front of the dungeon. Everyone present was squeezing towards the dungeon. 300 copper coins for the second time? Don't even think about it, spend it. 3 renminbi for the third time? Spend it as if it didn't cost money. Are you going in or not? If not, make way. Whoever dares to take advantage of me, don't blame me for being rude. Why are people from other servers here? Aren't the officials going to do something about it? District 122 is so crowded. Can't you guys go back to your own district to play? The players in District 122 were also depressed. Many guilds from other districts suddenly appeared around them. The key was that many top guilds also came to join in the fun. This also caused them to be angry, but not dare to say anything. Lu Chen passed by the stone door again. The pitiful little ghost girl was no longer there. She was now floating behind him, so the stone door mission was naturally gone. Farming ghosts. Forget it, I'm about to throw up. I'll find other monsters to farm. At this moment, Lu Chen found that the dungeon options kept jumping. Lu Chen immediately opened the dungeon information. As soon as he opened it, a long string of messages instantly filled the message box. 1943-03, you have received 300 copper coins, 2027. 22, you have received 300 copper coins, 2027. 22, you have received 3 renminbi. It has been transferred to your bound agricultural bank savings card. 2027. 22, you have received 300 copper coins, 2027. 23, you have received 3 renminbi. It has been transferred to your bound agricultural bank savings card. The number of messages was so shocking that it was impossible to check. Lu Chen could only look for the total data from the dungeon interface. Today's dungeon challenge times: 47741/1000. Free challenge times: 20,113. 15,325 copper coins challenge. Total income: 459 gold, 75 silver coins. Challenge fee: 12,303 times. Income: 36,909 yuan. Dungeon Soul Essence Reserve: 268/300000. The number of challenges was still jumping crazily. Every time it jumped by more than 10 or 20 times, it was even more terrifying than a stopwatch. Damn, that's fast. Lu Chen was overjoyed. He had only built the instance dungeon for less than an hour, and he was already making money. As long as the instance dungeon was active, Lu Chen could earn a large sum of money every day. He was simply lying down to earn money and earn resources. In addition, Lu Chen was most concerned about the soul essence. This was the reward he looked forward to the most when he built the instance dungeon. Currently, the rate at which the spirit essence was increasing was not fast. However, one had to know that the current instance dungeon was the most basic single-player instance dungeon. The number of instance dungeon monsters that could be accommodated was still very small. At this rate, I should be able to obtain an additional 600 soul essences a day, which should be enough to form a stable income. As long as the instance dungeon is there, I don't need to pay for equipment, gold coins, money and soul essences. This is a good deal, Lu Chen said with satisfaction. Originally, Lu Chen built the instance dungeon for fun. Judging from the current income, it seemed that he could spend some EXP on the instance dungeon. Lu Chen opened the Legion option and studied it carefully. Level 2 Legion Hall requires a Level 2 soul source, materials, and 20 subordinates. 20 subordinates requires a lot of reputation. It would be great if I could find a place that drops 7-star materials. A 7-star material could sell for 1 million reputation, which should be enough to support his expenses. As he spoke, Lu Chen actually walked out of the mass graves. There were 2 roads in front of him. Lu Chen went to look at the road signs. The east led to Divine Beast Mountain, and the west led to the main road. It seemed that after crossing 2 mountains, he would reach a level 30 main city. With Lu Chen's current strength, going to a level 30 main city was no problem at all. However, the Divine Beast Mountain, on the other side, immediately attracted his attention. Divine Beast Mountain? There won't be any divine beasts there, right? Lu Chen had only collected 1 ultimate divine beast and 1 ultimate vicious beast. There must be many divine beasts outside. Let's go take a look. Not long after, Lu Chen found that there was only 1 road in front of him, leading to a huge mountain peak. The mountain path was paved with steps, and on both sides of the steps stood various divine beast statues. Qilin Taowu, for great vicious beasts, Bays, Nine-tailed Fox, Kuan, Hellhound and many others that even Lu Chen couldn't name. Walking all the way to the top of the mountain, Lu Chen appeared in front of a simple farmhouse courtyard. An old man was leisurely cleaning the courtyard. A rhubarb dog was lying in the courtyard, yawning lazily. Seeing someone come, the old man put down the broom in his hand and smiled at Lu Chen. "Hello, young man." Lu Chen nodded. "Hello, old man. This guy is obviously an NPC. Living here alone, he must be extraordinary. I wonder if there's a mission. You must be tired after such a long journey. If you don't mind, come in and have a cup of tea and rest." Lu Chen didn't hesitate. He pushed open the fence and came into the small courtyard. The old man poured 2 cups of tea and pushed one of them in front of Lu Chen before sitting down. Rhubarb lay at the old man's feet lazily. "Young man, you're the first person to come to my place." Lu Chen didn't know what to say, so he just listened. "How rare. You've already collected 2 ultimate divine beasts. There are only 4 in the 100-beast mountain, and you've collected 2 by yourself. Each divine beast is extremely difficult to obtain, not to mention the ultimate divine beasts. It's even more difficult." When Lu Chen heard this, it wasn't strange that the NPC knew that he had 2 ultimate divine beasts. What was strange was that he actually said that there were 2 more ultimate divine beasts in the 100-beast mountain. He immediately asked, "Old man, you said that there are 2 more ultimate divine beasts in the 100-beast mountain? Do you know where they are?" The old man looked at Lu Chen and smiled. "Didn't you get 2 keys? One of them is related to one of these 2 keys." Lu Chen had the secret room of the Revenant's door, and the key to the 2nd floor of the underground mine. He didn't know which key the old man was talking about. "Old man, can you be more specific?" The old man smiled. "I'll stop here. If I tell you everything, won't you miss out on the fun of exploring Jiutian?" Seeing that the old man wasn't willing to go into detail, Lu Chen could only give up for now. But at least he knew that there was one more divine beast. It was either in the Revenant's door, or in the depths of the underground mine. "Right, old man. You said that there are 4 divine beasts in the 100-beast mountain. Where is the other one? Can you tell me?" The old man took a sip of tea and suddenly said, "I don't have much time left." Lu Chen frowned. Why was the old man saying something that didn't make sense? "Young man, can you help me take care of Rhubarb?" Lu Chen blinked and looked at the lazy Rhubarb lying at the old man's feet. "This is a mission. Or is Rhubarb a divine beast? It can't be that easy for me to get it." Chapter 143. The old man laughed. "Rhubarb is just an ordinary hunting dog. Anyway, the NPCs in Jiutian were all weird. This old man was even weirder than Xiaomin. Lu Chen only knew that the old man was definitely not an ordinary NPC. But he did not know if he had a mission for him. Lu Chen thought about it. At least the old man had given him some useful information. From this point alone, it did not matter if he helped the old man. "Old man, I can help you take care of it." The old man looked at Lu Chen even more kindly. "Okay, thank you, little brother." A message suddenly popped up from the system. Hidden mission Immortal Fate completed. Reward. Ancient Fragment X1. Ancient Heart X1 WDF. Lu Chen opened his backpack in disbelief. There was an ancient fragment and an ancient heart in his backpack. This works too. Lu Chen widened his eyes and looked at the old man in front of him in shock. This guy was an immortal? Wait a minute, this mission was a little interesting. It did not tell him anything at the beginning, and only told him after he completed it. If he did not help the old man take care of Rhubarb, or did not even come in to drink tea, this mission would not be available. Moreover, it seemed that only the person with the highest level would be here first. Therefore, this mission was not available to ordinary people at all. "Thank you for taking care of Rhubarb for me. That is my gift to you," the old man said with a smile. Lu Chen blinked his eyes. He could get ancient materials just by chatting. Then, he planned to have a long talk with the old man. They would talk until the end of time. However, before Lu Chen could find a topic to talk about, the old man stood up and said, "I should go. Little brother, you and I are fated. Let me give you a word of advice. You must remember it well." Lu Chen was a little disappointed. It seemed that his wish of getting more ancient materials was going to be dashed. "Old man, please go ahead. Mad God and Nameless. You can become Mad God, but you can also become Nameless." After the old man finished speaking, he suddenly turned into a white light and shot into the sky, disappearing in an instant. Only a stunned Lu Chen and Rhubarb were left looking up at the sky. Woo-woo. Rhubarb whimpered softly. Its head was lying by his feet. It seemed to be in low spirits. However, Lu Chen was still in a daze. Mad God. Nameless. Others did not know that these two people were Lu Chen. But it was not surprising that the NPCs knew. However, since he already knew, what was the difference between the two? Mad God and Nameless? Is there a difference? Isn't it me? I don't know what this sentence. Lu Chen looked at the tea in front of him and drank it in one gulp. Drinking the loose immortal tea, spiritual energy increased by 50 points. PFFF. Lu Chen almost spat out the immortal tea. Fortunately, he forcefully held it back and swallowed it back. 50 had 50 Nameless. He only had 68 points of spiritual energy, so he couldn't afford to waste them. Not only could he not waste it, but he also had to check if there was any left in the teapot. As a result, Lu Chen lifted the teapot. It was empty. Well, I didn't expect there to be such a mission here. I almost missed it. Lu Chen shook his head. There were still 2 mythical beasts in the 100-Beast Mountain. One was in the Gate of the Dead, or in the underground mine. The other one was a little difficult to find. It might be in an undiscovered dungeon or secret realm. The appearance of a mythical beast will definitely cause a huge commotion. I don't need to waste time wandering around. Lu Chen thought for a while and said, "Let's evolve first." There was no one else around. Lu Chen took off his human skin. From the crack behind him, a terrifying creature about 4 meters tall slowly revealed its original form. Lu Chen's appearance scared Xiao Min to tears last time. However, Rhubarb only raised its head to take a look. It actually continued to lower its head, and did not take it seriously. Increased star level, increased talent. Undead bloodline. After 2 rays of golden light, Lu Chen's new attributes were generated. Quality 5-star. 2-stage increase in 3 dimensions by 550%, 0/325 star quality. 0 of 1 primordial heart. Level, 28 upgrade progress. 110404/6, 000000. Physical strength, 821. Basic 533 plus equipment 181 plus title 107, agility, 753. Basic 533 plus equipment 220 physique, 783. Basic 533 plus equipment 197 plus title 53. Spiritual strength, 118. Elixir 118. 78/11800. Pure spiritual energy. Physical attack. 1028 to 1044 poison attack. 10 defense, physical defense. 543. Basic 266 plus equipment 223 plus title 54. Spiritual defense, 24. Health, 21632. Basic 13860 plus equipment 3940 plus title 3832. Physical attack, 1000 defense, 500 health, 22,000. My attributes have increased again. Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. The reward this time came too easily. He looked at Rhubarb and said, "Rhubarb, you will stay in my territory from now on, and help me guard the house." Rhubarb stood up reluctantly, shook off the dust on its body, and walked to Lu Chen's feet. In Lu Chen's pet column, there was an additional Rhubarb. Lu Chen glanced at Rhubarb's attributes. Pet, Rhubarb white. Age, 202 years old young. Physical strength 28 agility, 24 physique 30 defense, physical defense 14 health, 600 talent. Super sense of smell, can smell danger within a 600-meter range. Damn at your age. Aren't you too willful? 202 years old? And you're still a young one. Lu Chen was stunned. But your 3D is a bit low. You won't be bullied by the 10 beasts, right? I have to warn them. Speaking of which, since you have the super sense of smell talent, do you know where the other mythical beast is? Lu Chen asked. Lu Chen was just asking casually. After all, the old man said that Rhubarb was just an ordinary dog. But who knew that Rhubarb would actually wag its tail, looking very excited? You know? Lu Chen asked in surprise. Rhubarb nodded. Lu Chen suddenly widened his eyes. Where? Rhubarb barked twice, and Lu Chen's system automatically showed the meaning that Rhubarb wanted to express. The system only showed 2 words, but when Lu Chen saw these 2 words, he suddenly frowned. No way, it's all in. At this moment, the 2 words Lu Chen saw in front of him were clearly Celestial Mountain. Lu Chen had been to Celestial Mountain a few times, so he was very familiar with the area. The main city of Celestial Mountain was built on the mountain. There were shops in the main city, a gathering place for professionals, the twin towers of Celestial Mountain, and a lake called Stormy Pond. On the side of Celestial Mountain's main city, there were some small peaks. These small peaks were the headquarters of the various large guilds. Strange, I've been there a few times, but I haven't seen any mythical beasts. Mythical beasts can't be in a guild's territory, Lu Chen pondered. Wait, when I first established the army, the game mentioned that I didn't rely on the protection of Celestial Mountain and set up my own guild. This activated the territory quest. In other words, Celestial Mountain is actually very strong. Celestial Mountain does have some soldiers, all level 50 elites, but there aren't many, only 300 to 400. With such a defensive force, could they protect the entire Celestial Mountain, such a large area, and so many guilds? Lu Chen felt that it was a little dangerous. Jiutian had a wild monster ecosystem. Celestial Mountain covered such a large area, but no wild monster dared to take half a step into the minefield. Why was that? Could it be that this mythical beast is very likely to be the guardian of Celestial Mountain? Is it the true guardian of Celestial Mountain? Thinking of this, Lu Chen suddenly felt an unprecedented pressure. To obtain that mythical beast, didn't that mean he had to destroy Celestial Mountain? Shit, can this game still be played? What bullshit Divine Blood Demonic Seed quest? Lu Chen said frantically. Is this a quest that can be completed by humans? Chapter 144. The dungeon's daily limit was reached very quickly. Outside the dungeon, many people shook their heads and sighed. Tiger King is only 50,000 EXP. Underground Mine is 60,000 EXP. And this dungeon is 90,000 EXP. It's a loss if we miss out. Why is it only in District 122? Mad God is in District 122 too. Why can't they get one in our district too? Don't you think it's interesting? Mad God and Nameless are both in District 122. I think Mad God can't stand Nameless being in the limelight. He's finally making a comeback. This topic had become a hot topic in the gaming forums. Mad God and Nameless, who is stronger? There were all kinds of analysis posts on the forums. I think Nameless is stronger. What does Mad God have? Isn't he just selling equipment? Has anyone seen him in real combat? No, but I think everyone has seen Nameless in real combat. A few of my professional gamers said Nameless skills are pretty good. Don't forget, when Mad God became famous, Nameless was Nameless. Anyone with good equipment can fight. But Nameless can build a personal dungeon? That's a completely different level of suppression. Previous poster. If I gave you the same set of equipment, you'd still be beaten to a pulp. Many people can't understand Nameless skills. His awareness, positioning, prediction and mentality are all top-notch. How could Mad God be compared to John Doe, just because he built a dungeon? What a joke. Mad God and Nameless both had their own fans and haters. Neither side could convince the other. Both sides seemed to be looking forward to a face-off between the most mysterious player, Mad God, and God of War Nameless. On the other hand, due to the appearance of Solipsistic's personal dungeon in District 122, there was a sudden surge in the number of players. Due to the Jiutian rule that players could not change their IP after killing a boss within 12 hours, many people might be stuck in District 122 for a long time. District 122 had somehow become the most crowded server in the country. It was a good thing that the big guilds still had to keep the records of their original servers, such as the records of the 2 towers and guild resources. They wouldn't move the entire server. That way, they wouldn't have any conflict of interest with the native guilds in Section 122. Everyone would just be grinding dungeons and leveling up, so it didn't seem to affect them too much. However, for the Soaring Dragon Guild, this was an opportunity to increase their fame. The guild's internal PK competition that was originally scheduled for the next day was bound to be seen by even more people. For this reason, Soaring Dragon changed the time and location of the competition, preparing to postpone it to 2 days later and spend a lot of money to hold a large-scale PK competition. The rules of the competition had also changed. Every member of the 3 major guilds needed to team up with another non-guild non-professional player to PK in pairs. At this stage, almost all of the main forces and reserve forces of the various large guilds had entered the Celestial Mountain main city. Then, it was time to expand the scale of the guild and recruit external members. This PK competition was the best opportunity for that. As for the location of the PK competition, it was arranged to be at the 72 Heavenly Flame Pillars martial arts practice field in the inner city of the Immortal Mountain. The martial arts practice field was located next to the Stormy Pond. Pillars of light would shoot out from the ground at any time. The damage of these pillars of light was off the charts. As long as one was hit, a -10,000 would appear above their head, and they would be killed instantly. The location and time of the eruption of the Heavenly Flame Pillars was random. Players only had 1 second to dodge. In this competition, the players' reactions, positioning, and ability to make good use of external conditions were all extremely harsh challenges. Is the live stream ready? Soaring Dragon's management was still inquiring about matters related to the PK competition. We spent 20 gold coins to rent the martial arts practice field this time, so the publicity effect must be made known. Director Liu, our 3 streamers are ready. In addition, we have invited Feng Lingzi and Xiaoming to live stream this competition. Both of their popularity has been in the official top 5 for a long time. Of course I know. When can we cultivate such streamers? Okay, inform everyone. In 30 minutes, we will have a preparation meeting. Okay. Lu Yi and Xiaomei sat at the back of the large conference room, looking at Director Liu. The guild leader was speaking on the stage. So this time, especially the members of the reserve team, as long as you can defeat the members of the main team, you will be qualified to join the main team. Director Liu said. Soaring Dragon added. Because it is a 2v2. Other than your own strength, the strength of your teammates is also very important. Call on those friends with strong skills around you. That way, your chances of winning will be higher. In addition, if you have nothing to do, you should also recommend our guild to your friends. Now that the competition between guilds is getting more and more intense, there is strength in numbers. We also need to expand our guild and recruit some capable new members. Director Liu said, how about this? If everyone recruits a qualified new member, we will reward 500 yuan. Lu Yi and Xiaomei looked at each other and suddenly widened their eyes. 500 yuan for one person. The company was so rich now. After the meeting, Xiaomei and Lu Yi went to the lounge to chat. Xiaomei, do you have someone in mind? I want to call my brother, but I don't know if he is willing to join our guild. What about you? My brother will probably come. Anyway, he is playing alone. If he joins the guild, I can protect him, Lu Yi said proudly. She seemed to be very happy when she thought of Lu Chen following behind her for protection. However, Lu Yi thought about it. Her brother had recently earned a lot of money. Perhaps he did not have much time to play the game. I just don't know if our guild wants him. I am afraid his level is too low. What is your brother's level? I am not too sure. His skills are very good, but he seems to be playing casually. Who cares? Anyway, let's recruit him first. If he sneaks in, let's earn 500 yuan first. Okay. Lu Chen was rushing. He did not expect a level 30 main city to be so far away. Although he knew the whereabouts of the other 2 mythical beasts, Lu Chen was very clear. Previously, he did not fight mythical beasts, but the remnant souls of mythical beasts. This time, he did not know what form the 2 mythical beasts were in. If they were the real bodies of the mythical beasts, he would definitely not be able to defeat them. Moreover, one of them had destroyed the main city of the Celestial Mountain. This was not a simple matter. He had to increase his strength first. When can I get a mount? Lu Chen complained. Xiaomin, have you been to a level 30 main city? Boss, I have never left the mass grave before. Lu Chen smiled. That's true. Rhubarb, what about you? After Rhubarb told Lu Chun that there were mythical beasts in the Celestial Mountain, Lu Chun could not leave Rhubarb alone in the territory. Perhaps there would be unexpected surprises by bringing him along. Woof woof. You have been there. The system helped Lu Chun translate Rhubarb's prophecy. Woof woof woof. What? I will be abused like a dog if I go there now. Impossible. Wait, aren't you a dog? You are disrespecting yourself too much. Woof woof woof. TSK. I don't believe you. You probably don't know your boss's strength. After walking for an unknown period of time, Lu Chun finally saw the road sign in front of him. This was a fork in the road. The road in the middle led to the level 30 main city, Firmament City. The road on the left led to Fiend City. The road on the right led to 3 areas: Moon-worshipping Blood Pool, Breaking Head Cliff, and Ancient Battlefield. Lu Chun looked up. The direction of the main city was shrouded in fog. The direction of Fiend City was covered in layers of fog. The direction of Moon-worshipping Blood Pool was filled with the faint sound of wind and cranes. Where should I go first? Chapter 145. Just as Lu Chun was hesitating, the communication window showed that his younger sister, Lu Yi, was calling him. Connect. Brother, where are you? I'm in Jutian. Hey, when are you coming home? How long have you not been home? Hurry up and clean up your trash. The silly girl had grown up, and Lu Chun could not casually touch her things. After Lu Yi cleaned up her things, they could move to their new home. Aya, I haven't had time recently. I'm in the main force. Brother, where are you in Jutian? I'll go find you and help you level up. I'm wandering around. No, why are you looking for me? Brother, can you accompany me in a guild PK competition the day after tomorrow? I'm not part of your guild. Lu Yi briefly explained the new rules of the company. Finally she said, Brother, although your level is not high, I have absolute confidence in your skills. So, accompany me in a team PK. Lu Chun was currently concerned about another problem. Your competition location is next to the Stormy Pond? Yes, it's the 72 Sky Flame Pillars training ground. I spent 20 gold to rent it. Lu Chun thought for a moment. Didn't he want to investigate the strength of the Celestial Mountain's mythical beast? He had to take care of his younger sister's matters. Since he could also investigate the Celestial Mountain's mythical beast, Lu Chun decided on the spot. Okay, but I'll make it clear first. When the time comes, I can only guarantee that I won't die. You'll do the fighting and killing. You're all professionals. I'm scared. I know, brother. Look at how scared you are. Okay, since you don't want me to help you level up, I'll go with Little May and the others to clear instance dungeons. After hanging up, Lu Chun thought for a moment. When the time came, he would adjust the attribute ratio. The key was to see if he could figure out the mythical beast. It was still early for the day after tomorrow, so Lu Chun decided to explore the map first. Let's go to the moon-worshipping blood pool first. The ancient battlefield. I wonder if there are any ancient materials. Although Lu Chun didn't believe Rhubarb's reminder, he didn't completely ignore it. As the saying goes, when a man achieves the Tao, even his chickens and dogs will ascend to heaven. Rhubarb was following the old man, and every time the Jiotian jumped to a new map, the difficulty would increase exponentially. It was likely that the new maps would not be easy to explore. Xiaomin possess. Rhubarb, go to the beast pen first. After putting away the 2 pets, Lu Chun glanced at the road on the right, took a deep breath, and walked over. After walking for 7 or 8 minutes, the smell of blood in the air became stronger and stronger. Lu Chun suddenly realized that his HP was slowly decreasing. Fuck, did I get hit by a debuff? Lu Chun checked his status. Blood poison inflicts 0.5% of maximum HP damage every second. This damage is called life removal effect. Defense is ineffective. So domineering? The surrounding fog gradually turned red, and the smell of blood became stronger and stronger. Not long after, a huge red lake appeared in front of Lu Chun. The lake's surface was suffused with fog, and the red lake water was like blood. Fuck, it's a little scary. Beside the lake, there was a stone tablet. Moon-worshipping blood pool. 1,000-man cave, 10,000-man pool, flesh to mud, blood to the moon. It can't be right. This lake is filled with blood? Lu Chen was shocked. How much blood would be needed to fill such a huge lake? Alright, I was wrong. The developers of Tianheng are definitely sick. As he spoke, Lu Chen had already unsheathed Tiger Weep from his back. This place was clearly not a map where one could stroll around and admire the scenery. Just the scenery was already so terrifying. So the monsters must be even more terrifying. Lu Chen stepped into the moon-worshipping blood pool. However, to his surprise, the monsters here were actually humanoid monsters. Enemy invasion. A man in a red robe shouted, and several people suddenly appeared around him. Fuck, they're calling for companions? Blood sacrifice, blood skeletons. The disciples of moon-worshipping cult invoked their techniques and summoned their pets. More than a dozen red skeletons rose from the lake's surface, and they were all over 2 meters tall. They quickly walked to their master's side from the lake's surface, and immediately surrounded Lu Chen. They're all spiritualists. The difference between a spiritualist and a puppeteer was that one was naturally born, while the other was artificially tempered. When a spiritualist's pet attacked, they could also attack. The red skeletons quickly attacked Lu Chen. -74, -73, -69. The skeleton's attack was not low. Lu Chen's physical defense was over 500, and these guys actually managed to hit him. -233, blood poison curse. -231, blood poison curse. Logically speaking, these attacks should not be able to hit him. But Lu Chen discovered that his HP was dropping rapidly. Fuck, what's going on? Lu Chen carefully looked at the source of the damage. The skeleton's attacks were nothing much, and they were all physical attacks. The moon-worshipping sect members only dealt around 200 damage. However, among the many attacks, there was one that was increasing rapidly. Fuck, these guys' blood poison curse can actually stack. Lu Chen finally saw it. His HP debuff was currently dropping at 10.5% of his maximum HP, losing 10.5% HP in 1 second. Who could withstand that? Tiger Roar, Great Ravager Sweep. The moon-worshipping sect members had around 5,000 HP, and they died after 4 or 5 attacks. When their master died, the skeletons also scattered. However, Lu Chen's debuff was still there. Fuck, I'm going to die from the poison. Fortunately, Lu Chen had just stepped into the moon-worshipping blood pool, and he hurriedly retreated from the area. Only then did his debuff begin to disappear layer by layer. When the blood poison curse completely disappeared, Lu Chen only had around 2,000 HP left. Fuck, luckily I didn't go too deep. Otherwise I would definitely die in there. Lu Chen let out a long sigh of relief. Rhubarb's warning was not groundless. He did not know how big the moon-worshipping blood pool was. It seemed that he would not be able to pass through it for the time being, let alone pass through the guillotine cliff and enter the ancient battlefield that he was most interested in. It seems that it won't be easy to pass through this place. I'll replenish my HP and go to Fiend City to take a look. Fiend City was an abandoned castle. As soon as he stepped into the ruins of Fiend City, a large group of giant monkeys emerged from the surroundings. Blood Fiend Macaque 3. These monkeys used both their hands and feet to run, and their speed was very fast. It's a new species. I wonder what kind of talent they have. Lu Chen decided to use Great Ravager Sweep to clear out some of them, and leave a few behind to test their talent. Tiger Roar, Great Ravager Sweep. The scene of a large number of damage points floating around did not happen as he imagined. Under the cover of the sword aura, the group of Blood Fiend Macaque's figures suddenly became blurry, and they instantly teleported 10 meters away, easily avoiding Lu Chen's Great Ravager Sweep. Seeing this scene, Lu Chen was not disappointed. Instead, his eyes widened. Don't tell me that this is their talent. What Lu Chen lacked now was a movement technique. If he could get this skill, it would be too awesome. Purchase Yellow Rank Technique Summary Scroll. Use. Invalid target. The opponent did not use any technique. It really is a talent. Lu Chen was instantly energized. Ha ha ha. I can't beat the blood pool. But I can't beat you monkeys. This talent, I want it. Chapter 146. Killed Bloodfiend Macaque 3. Captured 840 spiritual energy. Obtained rank 2 talent fragment 1. Obtained 2-star quality point 1. Increased pure spiritual energy by 1. Killed Bloodfiend Macaque 3. Captured 840 spiritual energy. Obtained rank 2 talent fragment 1. Obtained 2-star quality point 1. Ding! Obtained item Monkey Tail X1. Obtained item Spirit Monkey Belt. Level 24 green. Damn! Even the small monsters can drop green equipment? Lu Chen was surprised. As his level increased, the quality of the items dropped by the wild monsters would also be higher. Lu Chen did not have a belt yet. Although it was a level 24 green equipment, this belt added physical defense and 5 spiritual defense. Some of the basic attributes could be equipped directly. There are quite a lot of macaques here. Their level range is very wide, so I don't have to run around. The experience is okay too. Let's reach level 30 first. The closer he got to the center of Fiend City, the more macaques Lu Chen noticed. It seemed that there were many macaque nests around, and there was an endless stream of them. Come on. The more the better. After another day of farming, Lu Chen finally reached level 30. At level 30, Lu Chen put on the purple mask that he had previously obtained. The surface of the mask was a ferocious ghost face, but the attributes were very high. The key was the special effect Spirit Gathering Vein Seal. It had a 10% chance of silence and speed reduction. Once hit, it would be a nightmare for the brittle. Then Lu Chen checked the reputation store. The number of macaques killed was enough. He could fuse the bloodline and buy a skin. Fuse the bloodline first. Talent Monkey Spirit Bloodline, rank 2, rapid movement. Explodes the potential of the monkey spirit's agility. Move a maximum of 10 meters in 0.5 seconds. While moving, it does not affect other techniques. Cooldown of 120 seconds. Hiss. This displacement skill is quite strong. Lu Chen looked carefully at the talent description. Many games had displacement skills, but while moving, they could not do other things. However, this talent of the monkey spirit bloodline was not a normal displacement skill. It was more like a short burst of movement speed. While moving, it did not affect other techniques. Quite strong. Level up to rank 4. After leveling up, rapid movement became 20 meters in 0.5 seconds. The distance has doubled. Very strong. However, it would be great if there was an ancient era's shard that could bring about a qualitative change. Lu Chen said greedily. Damn it, there are too few ancient materials. It would be great if I could complete a few more Immortal Destiny missions. It was obvious that Immortal Destiny missions were not so easy to come by. Lu Chen could only place his hopes on the ancient battlefield, and hope that that place would live up to its name. Today's mission had been completed, so Lu Chen prepared to sleep. Just as she lay down, Li Muhua called her. Hey Brother Chen, you're not in the game. This guy was now calling Lu Chen Big Brother Chen. Speaking of which, who knew who was older? No, I'm tired and ready to sleep. How many people are sleeping in the game now? Forget it. It's better to draw a clear distinction between the game and reality. Alright. You can do whatever you want. By the way, you bought a house previously, right? I helped you hide the information. Thanks. I'm always being stared at like a monkey in the game. I don't want it to be the same in reality. Forgive me for being blunt, but I really can't understand your troubles. By the way, Brother Chen, where did you get the spiritual creature's soul essence that you gave us? I don't know either. I see. Then why didn't you go to the second underground floor? I'll go after a while. The hidden boss there is quite strong. If the second floor also has a hidden boss, I might not be able to beat it. If even you can't beat it. Alright, then let's just go to the first floor. How many minutes do we need to clear the first floor's hidden boss? Within 6 minutes. Big brother, pretend I didn't ask. Have a good rest. After hanging up, Lu Chen couldn't help but laugh. This guy Li Muhua seemed to be a military officer, and was quite funny in private. Tomorrow was Lu Yi's guild PK. He didn't know how good that silly girl was at PK. He was looking forward to it. The next morning, Lu Chen was woken up by Lu Yi's phone call. Brother, where are you? My guild is PK today. Hearing about Lu Yi's business, he could feel that the silly girl was very nervous. She worked so hard for so long for today. I just woke up. I'm going down to eat breakfast. Oh, then hurry up. I'll wait for you at the Celestial Mountain main city. With his sister's orders, Lu Chen hurriedly got up, washed up, went downstairs for breakfast, bought groceries, and exercised. Once he was done, he logged into the game as soon as he got home. After logging in, Lu Chen saw that his dungeon earnings were full for the day. He earned more than 70,000 renminbi, 600 soul essences, and 800 gold. Don't these people sleep? Lu Chen shook his head. No matter what, Lu Yi was the main character today. Lu Chen went on the trade network and bought a few low-level equipment to change into. He also adjusted his stats to 30% and turned off the Zombie King's Mask's purple aura special effect. After tidying up, he rushed to the Celestial Mountain main city. However, once he reached the Celestial Mountain main city, the surrounding players still noticed Lu Chen at a glance. That person is wearing a mask. Brother, where did the mask drop? I think it's pretty cool. How are its stats? Can you show it to us? This equipment naturally couldn't be displayed casually. Once it was displayed, the consequences would be unimaginable if it was a level 30 purple equipment. Bought it from the shop. It has no stats. It's for decoration, Lu Chen said casually. Does the shop sell masks? Yes. It refreshes once every 3 hours. There's a small chance of getting equipment, but it's usually white and has poor stats. However, it's quite interesting to see him wear it. Lu Chen was stunned. The shop really sold masks? Alright, that'd be for the best. The group of people disappeared with a whoosh, and all rushed to the sundry goods store. Lu Chen took the opportunity to slip away quickly. From afar, Lu Chen saw Lu Yi anxiously looking left and right. When she saw Lu Chen, she was stunned for a moment until Lu Chen walked in front of her. You don't even recognize your brother? Lu Yi came up and took off Lu Chen's mask. After confirming that it was Lu Chen, she hammered him. Brother, where did you get such an ugly mask? Did you buy it from the sundry goods store? The equipment there is terrible, and the price is crazy high. Hiding your ID? You're learning Nameless. Lu Chen chuckled. Don't move. I think this mask is pretty cool. Who would imitate Nameless? That's so trashy. TSK keep bragging. Lu Yi smiled and put on Lu Chen's mask. Don't spend money on these useless things in the future. A mask only adds a few points of defense. Copper coins will be of great use in the future. Oh, got it, Lu Chen replied honestly. At this time, Little Mei also brought her brother over. Seeing Little Mei's brother, Lu Chen was stunned. Wasn't this his guild's annotating Handsome? Brother Handsome, I've heard a lot about you. This is my brother. Lu Yi introduced Lu Chen. My brother used to play. Lu Yi. Lu Chen called out to the silly girl. He didn't want to talk about the past anymore. He reached out his hand and said to Handsome, Hello. Handsome looked at Lu Chen strangely and reached out his hand as well. Hello, brother. Where did you get this mask? It's quite interesting. I was lucky. I bought it from the sundry goods store. I saw it and bought it. Lu Chen directly used the words of other players. Haha, you've got quite a personality. If you see it next time, get me one too. Brother. Little Mei looked at her brother gloomily. Why were all men's hobbies so weird? The competition is about to start. This competition is very important to us. I'll have to trouble you two mask lovers to play well. It seemed that Lu Yi wasn't the only one who was nervous. Everyone in the Soaring Dragon preparatory group was probably nervous. Chapter 147. Many people had come to watch Soaring Dragon's PK today. Soaring Dragon had also done a lot of publicity, so the entire practice field was packed with people. In Jiutian, PvP was still not common. However, everyone understood that the higher one's level was, the more chances there would be to PvP in the future. Soaring Dragon's players were all professional players. Their understanding of the class could give people a lot of inspiration. Spending some time to learn would also save them a lot of trouble. On the stage of the practice field, Soaring Dragon's upper echelons, team leaders, branch team leaders, and the streamers were all standing there. The publicity was effective. The number of spectators today has exceeded our expectations. Yes, this is an event to promote the guild's brand. The bigger the event, the better. Are the team members ready? Director Lu, we're ready. The reserve team can challenge any member of the main team. Director Lu's level was actually quite high. He was level 19, and his in-game ID was Soaring Dragon Old Lu. Soaring Dragon said, Director Lu, the popularity of our live stream rooms has increased. This time, we have to thank Wen Chime and Little Ming for their help. Wen Chime smiled. Team leader Warsky, you're too polite. The fans also like to watch this kind of event. Director Lu nodded at Wen Chime. Then I'll have to trouble you all. Alright, let's not keep the audience waiting. Prepare to activate the 72 Pillars of Flame. The competition will begin immediately. Not long after, circles of marks appeared on the ground of the large training field. A second later, pillars of light shot up into the sky. Each pillar of light lasted for a full 5 seconds. Damn, these are the 72 Pillars of Flame. I think it costs 20 gold to rent one. It's said that one pillar of flame deals 10,000 damage per second. One touch and you'll die. Every time the pillars of flame appear, the time is random. The reaction time is too short. If you fight here, the requirements for both sides' reactions, positioning, and adaptability are all very high. I'm guessing that many people don't die at the hands of their opponents, but at the Pillars of Flame. There was no doubt about this. However, it was also the existence of the Pillars of Flame that made the competition even more uncertain. Those with lower levels and equipment might not necessarily lose. Lu Chen stared at the Pillars of Light. Could the energy source of these things be the Celestial Mountain's mythical beast? If that was the case, then the beast was quite strong. Soon the competition began. The first to go up was Soaring Dragon Jianghu from Lu Yi's fixed team. He brought his good friend and challenged Soaring Dragon White Clothes, and his friend from the third main team. Jianghu, do your best. Lu Yi and Little Mei were cheering for their companions. When the countdown reached 0, both sides quickly approached the center of the arena. Pugilistic World was a sword spirit cultivator. Sword spirits had high damage output, but their bodies were relatively fragile. Therefore, he found a monk friend who could act as a meat shield to protect him from damage. White Cloak was a pugilist, so he was very good at close combat. His friend was an explosives expert, so he was good at long-range AoE attacks. One was near while the other was far away. Not long after, the other party had already entered the attack range of the dragon ascending Jianghu. He immediately used his actual combat skill. Immortal Sword guides the way. A sword chi shot out. You want to hit me when you're so crooked? Achong, cover fire. Forced the monk to retreat. White Robe smiled and quickly changed his route. Roger that. 3 cannons. The explosive specialist's cannon was a gift from the class instructor. As long as the equipment was attached to the cannon would inherit the equipment's attributes. At this moment, the explosive specialist fired 3 anti-aircraft cannons at the same time at the monk. Golden light protection. The monk was also a civilian expert. He quickly attacked. His most important task was to prevent White Robe from getting close to his friend. No door to hell. The monk slammed his palm toward the pugilist. The monk and sword spirit's cooperation was quite perfect. The pugilistic world's path of the immortal sword seemed a little off, but with the monk's cooperation, there was an unexpected effect. At this moment, the No Door to Hell and Immortal Sword Guides the Way attacked White Robe at almost the same time, blocking most of his escape routes. But at this moment, a circular mark suddenly flashed under the feet of the monk and the pugilist. Seeing this mark, the two of them stopped fighting and retreated at the same time. At this moment, with a bang, a pillar of light shot into the sky. Heavenly Flame Pillar, death upon contact. The surrounding onlookers were already drenched in cold sweat. Damn, this is so exciting. The monk and sword spirit's cooperation should have been trained. They blocked the pugilist just now, so they should be able to fight. But this sudden move allowed the pugilist to dodge an attack. This depends on luck. It's hard to say, but the monk and the pugilist's reactions are very fast. They were able to react in such an intense battle. They are both experts. Lu Yi and Little Mei looked at each other. It was a pity just now. As long as White Robe did not get close, with the monk's restriction and protection, the sword spirit's damage would definitely be higher than the explosive specialist. But the heavenly flame pillar spoiled the situation. After losing a great opportunity, White Robe seemed to have started to get serious. The pugilistic world and his companions could not use the same method to restrict White Robe. They gradually fell into a disadvantage. In a protracted battle, the explosive specialist's advantage was also shown. The explosion range of the cannon was large and had a continuous ignition effect. On the other hand, it was more difficult for the sword spirit to hit a single target. In addition, the pugilist's equipment was better than the monk's. Although the monk had been holding the pugilist back, he did not have enough HP in the end. After the monk fell, there was no more suspense in the competition. The first round ended. Dragon Ascension Pugilistic World failed the challenge and was unable to enter the main team. Damn, didn't they say they were looking for non-professional players? Do they have to be so strong? I heard that in the professional guilds, the treatment of the main team members and the reserve team members is very different. At this time, who would dare to hide? They all called their best friends. Dragon Ascension will definitely want those two players. Louis looked at her brother behind her. She was originally worried that her brother would feel pressured. After all, she had said that he would just be a bystander. But now, it seemed that a 2v2 was really a 2v2. It was impossible for him to be a bystander. In the end, she realized that her brother was no longer behind her. After looking around, she found that guy squatting beside the stormy pond and playing with the water. Lu Chen scooped up a handful of water and sprinkled it on the surface of the water. Hey, the guy inside, can you move? At least let me see which one you are. There were only ripples left on the surface of the lake. Seeing that her brother was not paying attention, Louis felt a little pressured. Her brother still did not know how intense the competition was. Forget it. She would not tell him so that he would not feel burdened. This way, she could only rely on herself. After 5 rounds, it was Little May's turn. However, the result of this round was a little unexpected. Jun's control was quite eye-catching. He was practically suppressing the opponent's main team Sprite Master, making him unable to deal with Little May. However, there was a problem on Little May's side. With a mistake, the opponent's sword spirit seized the opportunity and ate a complete myriad sword technique. The damage of the myriad sword technique was not a joke. If all 7 swords were used at once, Little May's HP would drop by half in an instant. Even though Jun blocked a few attacks, Little May still died in the end. When she left the stage, Little May was not in a good mood. Her brother's consolation was useless. Brother, it's all my fault. I'm sorry. Hey, you're my sister. Why are you apologizing to me? It's okay. I'll train you more in the future. We'll definitely win next time. Louis walked over and hugged Little May. Little May, it's okay. You've already improved a lot. You can definitely do it next time. After a few rounds, no one on Dragon Ascension's side succeeded. Some were even forced to die from the Heavenly Flame Pillar. The strength of the main team is too strong. They're professionals after all. Not only can they avoid the Heavenly Flame Pillar, but they can also use it. That's terrifying. A few of the most powerful ones did not succeed. I suspect that no one will succeed in the challenge. At this moment, the referee announced the next round's name list. Next round, Dragon Ascension E against Dragon Ascension Warhawk. Chapter 148. The Celestial Mountain should also have a protective formation. Lu Chen's mind was now filled with thoughts of how to take down the Celestial Mountain. Brother, it's my turn. Lu Yi hurriedly ran behind Lu Chen and pulled him into the training field. Brother, the opponent might be a bit strong. Just hold on for as long as you can. It doesn't matter how you fight. That's what I plan to do too. Lu Yi was originally very nervous, but after hearing Lu Chen's words, she felt both angry and amused. It seemed that her worries were a bit unnecessary. Her brother's heart was very big. Not long after, both sides stood in the training field of the 72 Sky Flame Pillars. Dragon Soaring Warhawk was already a sword spirit cultivator. This was not surprising. Sword spirit, spiritualist, and apothecary were currently the three most popular professions. However, his tactics were a bit different from the others. His teammate was also a sword spirit cultivator. Louis was a pugilist. Before the second profession change as an archer, pugilist's main role was to be a tank. As for Lu Chen, he did not have a pet or a crystal ball. If he was not a pugilist, then he was a monk. Interesting, 2 long-range players against 2 close-range players. Won't the long-range players be doomed? What do you know? If it's an open area, it's very annoying to be closed in by close-range players. However, don't forget that there are 72 sky flame pillars here. Under the same level of control, the environment here is unique for long-range players. That Warhawk is their main third team's jungler. Do you think his positioning awareness is bad? TSK, that's not right. I think I know the person that Warhawk is looking for. Who? He seems to be the former captain of the Tianhui squad. 430. Yes, that's him. I've seen his interview. What the hell is the Tianhui squad? It's a very complicated shooting game in the past. The Tianhui squad was the absolute king of that game, and 430 was the absolute core of the Tianhui squad. In the international arena, 430 repeatedly played a good show of 1v5. Don't you think that's ruthless? You're talking about Grim Reaper? Yes, 430 is also known as Grim Reaper. This discovery immediately caused an uproar among the surrounding players. If this was an ordinary online game, a shooter wouldn't have caused such a stir. However, Jiutian was different. Jiutian's skills required a lot of prediction. In shooting games, apart from marksmanship, prediction was even more crucial. In the blink of an eye, I've already locked onto your next position. Shoot headshot. Perhaps this was the reason why the Grim Reaper chose the Sword Spirit. The long-range Sword Spirit was like a sniper. Soaring Dragon had said that they couldn't look for professional gamers. However, this was a game after all. In the field of online gaming, Grim Reaper naturally couldn't be considered a professional gamer. Warhawk looked at Lu Yi and smiled. I'm sorry, but choosing me is destined to be a stupid decision. Speaking of which, where did your friend get the mask? I'll kill him later. If it drops, it'll be mine. As a professional player, Louis knew that Warhawk was very strong. However, who in the main force wasn't? To put it bluntly, anyone could pull a jungler. On the contrary, pulling a jungler required the aggro to be quickly transferred to the tank, so the damage couldn't be too high. Warhawk's equipment wasn't the best in the third team. However, she didn't expect him to invite the Grim Reaper to help. With these 2 long-range players working together, the game's difficulty instantly became hell. Louis was so nervous that she couldn't speak. However, at this time, her absent-minded brother spoke. Little friend, whoever E chooses is destined to enter the main force. Warhawk and the Grim Reaper narrowed their eyes at the same time and looked at the masked man. So arrogant. Friend, PK isn't about talking. Don't be played to death by us later. Lu Chen walked to his sister's side and patted her shoulder. Don't be afraid, just fight as you like. Brother, do you know that Grim Reaper? It doesn't matter who he is. Lu Chen said indifferently. Don't forget, you're my sister, and I'm your brother. Under Lu Chen's encouragement, Lu Yi's fighting spirit finally reignited. I know, brother. The PK entered the countdown. 3, 2, 1, start. As soon as the match started, Lu Yi quickly rushed forward. She had to get close as soon as possible. Warhawk and the Grim Reaper had already seen through Lu Yi's tactics. As soon as the match started, the two quickly moved in 2 different directions. Immortal Sword guides the way, Lu Chen whispered. Be careful of their second stage. You go for Warhawk. Got it. Lu Yi quickly locked onto Warhawk and chased after him. Lu Chen rushed to the other target. Warhawk pinched his fingers and activated the second stage of Immortal Sword guides the way. He changed direction and rushed toward Lu Yi. At the same time, the Grim Reaper's Immortal Sword guides the way had already reached Lu Yi's side. The two's coordination could be said to be perfect. Warhawk used the second stage of Immortal Sword guides the way to block Lu Yi's movements. Once Lu Yi wanted to dodge, the Grim Reaper could launch a second stage attack. Ingjun frowned. Not good, little May, your friend is in danger. Not only are their attacks sharp, but they also have a follow-up move. It's impossible to dodge. Anyone who was immersed in the situation would find that Ingjuan's analysis was correct. As long as Lu Yi moved, the Grim Reaper's second stage would follow. With the Grim Reaper's control, it would definitely hit. Those two seemed to want to focus their attacks on Yi. Little May tugged at her brother's sleeve worriedly. Ranged versus melee, they'll definitely eliminate them one by one. Lu Yi already felt the danger. How should she deal with it? Once she was hit, these two experts would definitely have a follow-up move. At that time, the situation might instantly go out of control. No, she couldn't give up yet. How many days had it been? While others were resting, she was leveling. While others were watching videos, she was leveling. While others were sleeping, all for today. However, the enemy was holding a second stage and was waiting for her to change direction. Run to the right. At this time, Lu Yi suddenly heard her brother's voice. There was indeed a gap on the right, but how could the Grim Reaper not see it? He must be waiting for her to dodge to the right. However, Lu Yi still dodged to the right without hesitation, because that was what her brother told her. She completely believed in her brother's words. Idiot, the Grim Reaper sneered. His fingers had already turned into sword fingers, and was about to launch a second stage attack. At the same time, Warhawk sneered. You're already dead. 10,000 swords chant. Once the Grim Reaper succeeded, Lu Yi's HP would be reduced by half by 10,000 swords chant. Dragon Soaring Warsky smiled slightly, and explained to Fengling. Many players like to PK one move at a time. However, for professional players like us, one move is not enough. Once you're hit, you have to deal full damage. This is the quality that a professional player should have. Fengling did not know why Dragon Soaring Warsky said this to her. Well, she was streaming, so this should be said to her fans. It was understandable that he wanted to increase his popularity. However, at this moment, which could even determine life and death, everyone saw Mask Bro instantly change his equipment. Mask Bro changed into the Dark Frost cloak as he ran. This scene immediately caused everyone's brain to short-circuit. Bro, how can Yi's brother change his equipment? Didn't he enter the battle? Ingjun thought for a while and suddenly realized. I understand now. Jiutian PK is a little special. It simulates an outdoor battle. Entering the PK doesn't mean entering the battle. Only when you choose the opponent as your target, or when the opponent chooses you as their target, will you enter the battle when both sides have a slight aggro value. Those two people were targeting your friend. No one attacked Mask Bro, and Mask Bro. He didn't choose anyone as his target at the beginning. Therefore, he didn't attract any aggro and didn't enter the battle. Of course, he could change his equipment. Damn, I really underestimated that guy. He actually held back from the beginning. Ingjun's eyes were full of surprise. At this moment, he suddenly realized that he should be looking at that sloppy guy in a new light. After her brother's explanation, Little May finally understood why Lu Yi's brother could change his equipment. Bro, then why did he change his equipment? What's so special about the Dark Frost cloak? Right, why did he change to the Dark Frost cloak? Could the Dark Frost cloak save Yi? Before Ingjun could think clearly, Lu Chen told him the answer. Frozen Roar. Grim Reaper would never have dreamed that this amateur player would change his equipment in front of him. He also did not expect that when he was about to use the second stage of the Immortal Sword Guides the Way, he was frozen. Frozen, the skill was interrupted, the timing was perfect. Longting Yi was out of danger. Chapter 149. Now that Lu Yi was out of danger, Warhawk's innumerable swords chant had deviated greatly. Taking advantage of Warhawk's innumerable swords chant, Lu Yi quickly closed in and attacked. 122. The damage wasn't high, but Warhawk was right. A single attack wasn't enough for a professional player. She had to finish off all the damage. Chaotic Martial Suppression. Lu Yi quickly activated a pugilist skill. Chaotic Martial Suppression was a damage and crowd control skill. First, it disarmed the opponent's weapon, so that they couldn't use it to attack. Then it sacrificed some hits to increase the attack speed for a short period of time, and forced the opponent to face it head-on. This skill was very useful in dungeons. Not only did it have a taunt effect, but the damage dealt in a short period of time could also quickly accumulate aggro. If someone lost control of their aggro, the pugilist could use this skill to quickly pull back the aggro. Louis quickly waved her dark steel sword and attacked again and again. Warhawk could only wait to be hit. -134. Mississippi -122. -117. Mississippi. Although there were misses, with the attack speed bonus, she still dealt a lot of damage. Warhawk's plan had failed. The result was a mistake that put him in an extremely passive situation. Louis had demonstrated the ability of a professional player to seize an opportunity. In the live stream, people were discussing this move enthusiastically. Sure enough, you can't let a pugilist get close. Once they get close, it's hard to get rid of them. Miss is very strong, but I still don't understand how the masked man did that. Is there a pro player who can analyze it? At this time, a big V fan in the live stream, Den Mungazer, gave the answer. After a round of professional explanation, everyone finally understood why the masked man could change equipment at the start of the fight. Actually, it's not difficult to change equipment. The masked man's scary part is that he planned ahead of time. Den Mungazer's words resonated with many big shots. Hot-blooded age, Den Mungazer is right. Before the fight started, he knew that Grim Reaper and the others were going to focus on that pugilist. He also rehearsed how to kill her in his mind. That's why he was able to freeze Grim Reaper and prevent him from using his second move, Dolo 1,000 Hands. The Grim Reaper is not an ordinary person. If you wear the Dark Frost cloak in advance, the Grim Reaper will definitely have defensive equipment special effects. However, if you change your equipment in the middle of the battle, you will be able to defeat the Grim Reaper by surprise. TT Love Maple. Did you guys notice? He used the Edge of Frost roar to hit Death Reaper. The timing and distance were just right. If he had used it a little earlier, he wouldn't have hit Death Reaper. If he had used it a little later, he would have used Death Reaper's second stage. Thunderous Clamor. This guy's skill level is considered very high even among the professional players. He's always wearing a mask. Could he be a professional player? The discussion in the live broadcast room was in full swing, and the battle on the battlefield was getting more and more intense. After being entangled by Louis, it would be difficult for Warhawk to escape, and he would need the Grim Reaper to act. The key now lay in the hands of the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper was indeed an expert. Before Lu Chen could get close, he had already broken free from the frozen state. He glared fiercely at Lu Chen. According to his temperament, he definitely wouldn't let the other party do as he pleased. But when he looked at his companions, they were being chased and beaten. After all, it was a 2v2. He had to save his comrade first. Kid, just you wait. I'll kill you in a moment. Wind blast. The Grim Reaper said fiercely and quickly retreated. That kid didn't have the Shadow Tempest cloak, so his speed shouldn't be able to catch up to him. Once he pulled away, he would first help Warhawk get rid of the opponent. With the bonus of his movement speed, the Grim Reaper slowly pulled away and gradually found an angle to attack. Just as he was about to attack, something strange happened. In order to avoid the masked man getting close, he moved to the east side of the arena. The masked man was gradually pulled away, but on the other side, Longting-Yi had unknowingly arrived on the other side of Warhawk, forcing him to move to the west. In this way, the Grim Reaper, the masked man, Warhawk, and Yi formed a straight line. The Grim Reaper's line of sight was perfectly blocked by the masked man. That woman! The Grim Reaper suddenly felt a burst of panic. Not only was the man in front of him unusual, but even the little girl could observe the situation here. While suppressing Warhawk and avoiding the heavenly flame pillar, she was able to firmly control her own movements. The cooperation between these two was simply telepathic. The big shots in the broadcast room immediately understood why the Grim Reaper hadn't attacked yet. These 3 points formed a perfect line on the arena. Damn, that girl is also very strong. She's using force to the extreme. Well, she noticed the Grim Reaper's movements and quickly came up with a countermeasure. She's young. but the overall situation and details are very good. The masked man stood in front of the Grim Reaper. Don't underestimate her. When the Grim Reaper moved, the masked man also moved. The Grim Reaper wanted to use the heavenly flame pillar. But even if the masked man avoided the heavenly flame pillar and changed his route, he would still be able to perfectly block the Grim Reaper's line of sight. At this time, unless he directly used the second section of the immortal sword to bypass the masked man. But once he used the second section of the immortal sword, he wouldn't be able to change his moves. It would be too difficult to hit the martial artist. Ing Jun nodded. The advantage of 2 long-range fighters has been neutralized, but the advantage of 2 melee fighters has been reflected. Little Mei, your friend is very strong. Warhawk's side was already a bit overwhelmed, but the Grim Reaper still couldn't help. A moment later, Lu Yi launched the second wave of chaotic weapon suppression. Warhawk couldn't withstand the second wave of chaotic weapon suppression, but he couldn't get rid of his opponent. At this time, Warhawk found a circle of heavenly flame pillars 3 or 4 meters away from both sides. 1 second later, a heavenly flame pillar would erupt from there. Now he could only rely on the heavenly flame pillar to block the opponent. Time was very tight to pass through the marking before the heavenly flame pillar erupted, but now he could only take the risk. Bitch, wait for me to pull away and play you to death. Warhawk threw down a sentence and rushed to the heavenly flame pillar that was about to erupt. With a bang, the heavenly flame pillar erupted into the sky. Unfortunately, Warhawk couldn't pass through the heavenly flame pillar in time, and was directly killed. The protagonists of the PK competition were Soaring Dragons people. Once Warhawk was defeated, it didn't matter if the Grim Reaper lived or died. In this match, Lu Yi successfully advanced. The match was over, but the Grim Reaper didn't leave the stage. His eyes were fixed on the masked man. Boy, not bad. The Grim Reaper's tone was clearly angry. Just play around. After saying that, Lu Chen planned to go find Lu Yi. Seeing the masked man's frivolous appearance, the Grim Reaper became even angrier. Wait! The Grim Reaper suddenly called out to Lu Chen. Warhawk's strength is still too weak. He doesn't know how to fight in close range. Really a waste. I ask you, do you dare to fight again? Lu Chen didn't even turn his head. Not interested. For Lu Chen, killing a person wasn't something to be happy about. 1 kill, 100,000. The Grim Reaper loudly revealed a number. 1-on-1, 2v2, 5v5, or a team fight, it's up to you. Chapter 150. Brother, we've won. Lu Yi had just run over to celebrate with her brother when she heard Grim Reaper's challenge. She was stunned. Brother. Lu Yi had already forgotten that she had successfully entered the main team. She held on to Lu Chen worriedly, not knowing what to do. Grim Reaper's price was too terrifying. 100,000 per kill was definitely a huge gamble for the average person. However, for Lu Yi, such a bet was simply unimaginable. Lu Chen saw Lu Yi's nervous look and gently patted the back of her hand. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Then, Lu Chen turned to Grim Reaper. Isn't the bet too high? Ha ha ha, don't you have money? Do you want me to lend it to you? Grim Reaper laughed arrogantly. I think your sister is quite pretty. Why don't you ask her to borrow it from me? Grim Reaper seemed to be afraid that Lu Chen would not dare to accept. Without waiting for Lu Chen and his sister to agree, he turned around and announced loudly to everyone present. Warsky, let me use your place for a while. I'll pay for it myself. I'll transfer the money to you later. Grim Reaper was a famous figure after all. Although Dragon Soaring Warsky was unwilling, he could not say anything, and could only nod his head in agreement. Everyone looked at Grim Reaper in surprise, not knowing what he was going to do. Grim Reaper saw that he had attracted enough attention, and announced loudly to the audience. I, Grim Reaper, want to challenge the 2 of them. They can choose the number of participants. If they are short of 1 kill, I'll give them 100,000. Grim Reaper pointed his finger at Lu Chen. If they don't dare to accept the challenge, then get out of this martial arts arena. In an instant, the surrounding audience and the audience in the live broadcast room were in an uproar. Fuck, 100,000 per kill. That's a huge gamble. Grim Reaper is angry. The consequences are serious. Don't tell me he's going to call the entire Shining Battle team over. If that's the case, we won't be able to fight anymore. Lu Chen shook his head and sighed helplessly. Some people were just shameless. Initially, he thought that Grim Reaper had a glorious past, and winning the world championship was considered to have won glory for his country. He wanted to give him a way out. He did not expect him to be such a person in private. Lu Chen didn't need to be courteous to such a person. Grim Reaper, you seem to be quite rich. How about this? If you want to play, let's play bigger. 200,000 for a kill against a 40-man team. Lu Chen calculated his current assets. He had bought a villa before, so he still had about 9 million yuan. The masked man's voice was not loud, but his words were like an atomic bomb that exploded at the scene. Ing Jun looked at Xiao Mei in surprise. Your friend's family is rich? Xiao Mei looked anxiously at her good friend on the stage. No. What was wrong with her brother? Not only did he agree to the bet, he even raised it. He must be crazy. Motherfucker, the stakes have doubled. 200,000 for a kill. And it's a 40-man team. That's a few million for a team. If it's a one-sided game, it might go up to 5 million. Who is that guy? Rich second generation? Grim Reaper laughed maniacally. 200,000? Brat, are you trying to trick me? You're still too inexperienced. Lu Chen didn't know why his sincere tone would be taken as a scam. Think what you want, this is my price. Alright, Grim Reaper accepted the bet. A 40-man team. Each person will prepare 8 million. After the game ends, if both sides are 1 kill away, it'll be 200,000. Brat, I'm afraid you won't even be able to gather 8 million. You don't have to worry about that. It starts in 10 minutes. Lu Chen only needed to transfer the funds from his bank account to the game. It was done in a few minutes. Grim Reaper, on the other hand, took almost 10 minutes to transfer the money. Both sides set the rules of the game on the custom PK panel. The game would start in 3 minutes. Before this, the Grim Reaper's men had already entered Area 1221 after another. Many of them had the same prefix, Mad Dragon. Is that Mad Dragon? Damn, they're professional players. Grim Reaper actually found Mad Dragon. Although there aren't many people in this guild, every one of them is the best of the best. Damn, did you see their equipment? It's all Tiger's Weep. Even now, no guild could equip a team with Tiger's Weep and Tiger King. But Mad Dragon did it. When these people arrived, they walked leisurely to Grim Reaper's side and teased him. 430. Who dares to mess with you? Yo, there's quite a lot of people. Just nice to be in the limelight. So many chicks. I don't care who the opponent is. It's all the same. Mad Dragon gave off a feeling that could only be described with one word. Crazy. Looking at the masked man's side. Although the money had already arrived, he still hadn't arrived. Ing Jun looked at the time. There were only a few minutes left. He patted Lu Chen's shoulder. Bro, why are you doing this? You're giving them 8 million just to save face. How about this? If you don't have anyone, I'll call Mad Dragon's people over. We can at least kill some of them and recoup some of our losses. Bro, what are you waiting for? Go call them. Little Mei was anxious. Thanks, but there's no need, Lu Chen said. Louie couldn't listen to anything. She was so anxious that she was about to cry. Bro, where did you get so much money? Did you borrow it from a loan shark? What should we do? Lu Chen held Lu Yi's hand. A pair of clear eyes looked at his sister through the mask. Silly girl. Do you think your brother is a brainless person? But bro, they have so many people, and their equipment is so good. We can't win. You don't have to worry about that. But there's one thing you have to prepare for. Go bankrupt? I'm already preparing. Lu Chen was really amused by this silly girl. Unfortunately, the competition was about to start. It wasn't time for jokes. No, you might have to leave Soaring Dragon in the future. I know. The loan sharks will definitely chase us everywhere. We'll have to wander the world again. Lu Chen realized that the silly girl's brain had already filled in a gangster movie. Fuck. What are you thinking about all day? I said it's nothing. Don't think too much. Listen carefully. Bro knows that you've been working hard. I don't want to let your efforts go to waste. I don't want to deprive you of your sense of achievement. So there are some things that I haven't told you. But now, it seems that you might find out soon. Louis was confused. Bro, what's the matter? Lu Chen smiled. It should be a surprise. Since it's a surprise, just wait patiently. Alright, the competition is about to start. I'll go up alone. There was still half a minute to the competition. Masked Bro slowly stepped onto the 72 Sky Flame Pillars arena. PK member locked. He's alone. That guy is really alone. Fuck, his brain is really damaged. I said that his thinking was clear before. Why do I feel like he's an idiot now? Throwing away 8 million for nothing. When Grim Reaper saw Masked Bro going up alone, he couldn't stop laughing. Fuck, ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. Too funny. Ha ha ha. Someone actually gave away 8 million for nothing. Ha ha ha, brothers, let me ask you this deal. Does it feel good? It's too fucking good. Haha, earning 8 million for nothing. There are idiots every year. This is the best I've ever seen. In the face of countless people's ridicule, Lu Chen didn't say anything. He just quietly changed into his equipment. Chapter 151. Dark Flame Coat, Dark Frost Cloak, Dark Night Pants. Masked Bro was surrounded by a faint blue light. It was not surprising that Tiger King had 3 pieces of equipment. There were many people who had them now. Tiger Weep, a purple weapon, was hovering between Masked Bro's hands. Tiger Weep was not rare either. Everyone from Mad Dragon had one. Until the blank mask, that attracted many envious gazes, was also surrounded by purple mist. The scene suddenly became chaotic. In the purple mist, Masked Bro became unusually mysterious, like a beast spying on its prey in the mist. The first to explode was annotated handsome. Damn, that's a purple mask. Didn't that guy say he got it from a roadside stall? A purple mask can be dropped from a general store? Impossible. Of course not. It's rare for a general store to drop equipment, and it only drops white trash. How can it drop a purple mask? Damn, Masked Bro, what's the attribute of your mask? Where did it drop? Lu Chen did not have time to care about the curiosity of the people below the stage. He adjusted the ratio of strength to 100%. Health, attack, defense, 3 dimensions, and talents were all restored. When the Zombie King mask appeared, even Mad Dragon's people were a little pale. Everyone's attention was shifted to Masked Bro. Mad Dragon's people were naturally dissatisfied. They were the center of attention wherever they went. But today their limelight was stolen. Kid, you're really lucky. I don't know where you got a purple mask from. But you think you can defy the heavens? Sorry you met us, Mad Dragon. I'll drop your mask later. Even if you're lucky, if you don't drop it this time, our guild will put you and that woman on a wanted list. Let's see what you can do then. Masked Bro sneered. First, there are many people who want to kill me. You're not even on the list. Second, you're lucky you're not in our area. Otherwise, you'll be miserable. Arrogant. Let's see how long you can be so stubborn. Time passed by, and finally, the PK entered the countdown stage. 10, 9, 8. 3, 2, 1. Every second, Lu Yi, Little Mei, and Handsome's hearts were stirred. Everyone's eyes were focused on the stage. Begin. The moment the match began, Grim Reaper, Mad Dragon, and 40 professional players with top equipment rushed toward Masked Bro. However, what happened in the next second left everyone dumbfounded. The masked man had disappeared. Wind Chime's live broadcast room exploded again. Where's the masked man? Fuck, he was still there just a moment ago. Damn. Is this a cultivation technique? This was not a cultivation technique, but Xiao Min's active invisibility skill. Quick shift. A loud shout came from behind Mad Dragon's group. Tiger's roar, great obelisk sweep. Wind Chime's livestream room exploded again. Wait, what the hell is rapid movement? Why did the masked man use the Great Ravager? It can't be right. How could the masked man move so fast? He suddenly appeared behind Mad Dragon? It can't be a teleportation skill, right? He can't be that person, right? It seems like only that person has used the Great Ravager's sweep. Nameless brother. Impossible. Brother Nameless doesn't have invisibility or displacement. Ing Jun looked at Lu Yi in shock. Your brother, is he nameless? Lu Yi's brain short-circuited. She wasn't thinking about whether Nameless brother was nameless. But, the person on the battlefield, was he her brother? I don't know either. Jun looked at Lu Yi's shocked face and knew that she was not faking it. He did not continue asking. Perhaps Lu Yi really did not know. Alright, if you want to know whether he's nameless or not, you just have to look at his Great Ravager's damage. When Nameless brother fought Friendship, his Great Ravager's damage was around 1200. Lu Chun was now level 30, and his attributes had increased by a lot. His physical attack had reached 1200, his spiritual power was 120, and Amin's possession added 81 spiritual power, totaling 201 spiritual power. Great Ravager's Ravager itself had 180% spiritual power, which was 360 spiritual power damage. At the same time, Tiger's Roar converted 1200 physical attack into spiritual power, which was added to Great Ravager's Ravager. Therefore, Lu Chen's Great Ravager's damage had reached 1600. Lu Chen's position was just right, and most importantly, he was invisible, so Great Ravager's Ravager could not be avoided. After the first Great Ravager's Ravager, 40 top players' health instantly dropped. A third of their 4,000 to 5,000 health was taken away. What the fuck? 1600 health. Fuck. Mad Dragon's people almost went crazy. Fuck, what kind of damage is this? It can't be that guy, right? At the same time, Brother Mask had also appeared. His Great Ravager's Ravagers every second made Mad Dragon's people understand the meaning of despair. Whoosh 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 whoosh, in all four directions, everyone's health dropped bit by bit. Mad Dragon professional players, who could block 4 Great Ravager that had 1,600 plus damage. Mad Dragon's people, who were still showing off just now, were down by 90%. 1 versus 40, without any hesitation, 35 people were killed in an instant. Of the remaining 5 people, 4 had black health, and only Grim Reaper, for some reason, was still at full health. Brother Mask kicked away the corpse beside his feet, and walked towards the remaining 5 people step by step. His voice was the same as before, without much emotion. Didn't you guys want my mask? Brother Mask slowly raised his hand and pressed it on the mask. I'll give you a chance, come and take it. Lu Chen took off his mask and threw it on the ground. However, the people were no longer paying attention to the exquisite equipment on the ground, the purple mask. Everyone saw the person's face clearly. It's nameless. Oh my god, he's nameless. Fuck, I should have known. If it's not nameless, who else could it be? In the live stream, the bullet screen had gone crazy. The masked man is nameless, bro. Fuck, it's War God Nameless. I was wondering how there could be such an idiot. Look at it now, the idiot is Mad Dragon. Nameless bro. Nameless bro. Kill Mad Dragon. They bully people in our server all day long. Did you see how Nameless bro taught them a lesson? Ha 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 ha, awesome, this is awesome. The one who sent 8 million is Mad Dragon. That bunch of trash. They still want Nameless bro's equipment? Ha ha ha, Mad Dragon's people are crazy. Customer service. Mad Dragon, your account is gone. The second purple equipment in the server was right in front of Mad Dragon's 5 people. They could pick it up just by taking 2 steps and bending down. Even if they were killed by Nameless bro, it might not be dropped. However, no one from Mad Dragon dared to pick it up. There were a few legends that had to be mentioned. Once, the Korean server provoked Wuxia server. In the end, Nameless bro beat the Korean server until they begged for mercy. Once, a guild snatched Nameless Twin Tower ranking. But they were defeated by Nameless bro. Once, a purple mask was placed in front of them. But it was Nameless bro's. Nameless bro, yes, we were blind. Death God, you fucker. How dare you provoke Nameless bro? You dragged Mad Dragon down with you. Nameless bro, quickly keep your equipment. We were wrong. We will go back to our server now. Why are you still standing there like idiots? Surrender. Mad Dragon's 4 people rushed to surrender and quit the PK. Of course, there was no such thing as surrendering meant losing half the battle. The current score was 0-39. Most of these people who used money to win friends over were like this. Lu Chen slowly walked in front of Death God and smiled. So, have you figured it out now? Who was the one who sent 8 million just to save face? In the future, who dares to call you nameless war god? You are no longer the nameless invincible god of war. You are my defeated opponent, the god of death. Just based on this, it's worth 8 million. That's right, 8 million. To be able to defeat the war god Nameless was not shameful at all. On the contrary, today's battle would definitely be recorded in history. Remember Nameless, if the king of hell wants you to die at midnight, no one will keep you alive until dawn. In front of me, the Grim Reaper. Even if you are nameless, you still have to kneel down and call me daddy. Ha ha ha. Many people felt that it was a pity for Nameless' moment of carelessness. There were also people who were jealous of Nameless' reputation and mocked him. However, very few people paid attention to this sky flame pillar. Fenglingzi was looking at the sky flame pillar. Impossible. Impossible. Fenglingzi said in horror. Goddess, what's wrong? You don't have to have such a big reaction after Nameless lost, right? Yeah, I've never seen Fenglingzi lose her composure like this. Not only did Fenglingzi lose her composure, Ingjuan's eyes were wide open, and his face was filled with horror. Oh my god, this is impossible, absolutely impossible. In the TT Guild, Li Qiuning was feeling sorry for Nameless' loss. Sigh, what a pity. That Grim Reaper was too cunning, and had such good luck to wait for a sky flame pillar. Hey brother Sun, why aren't you saying anything? Li Qiuning looked at Lin Sun, and saw the exaggerated expression on his face. Impossible, impossible. This is absolutely impossible. What's impossible? It's just impossible. Xiao Yaofeng and Glasses were about to turn off the video and go back to leveling up. However, just as the two of them stood up, their bodies seemed to have turned into stone. Fuck this, is this a bug? No, this isn't a bug, but this is impossible. Bosses from all over the world were muttering the same word. Impossible. Brother, what's going on? Little Mei was angry. She shook Jun, who was in a daze. Say something. Look inside that sky flame pillar. It's dealing damage. Minus 10,000 immune. The sky flame pillar had dealt damage 3 times in 3 seconds. What did this mean? It meant that Nameless didn't die. He had been burned by the sky flame pillar 3 times. Grim Reaper was still laughing crazily until he saw a figure slowly walking out of the sky flame pillar. His smile froze into an indescribably strange expression. Impossible, this is impossible. A voice faintly sounded. Sky flame pillar, that's all. Boom! All the broadcast rooms exploded. Fuck sky flame pillar, that's all? What the fuck? Is this something a human would say? Oh my god, how strong is Nameless? He stayed in the sky flame pillar for 3 seconds. I'm going crazy. Look at Nameless' reaction, he didn't panic at all. So just now he actually discovered the sky flame pillar's halo. He deliberately tested the sky flame pillar? Fuck, what kind of god is this? I suddenly want to be alone. I realized that in front of Nameless, my self-esteem has been trampled to pieces. When the figure appeared in front of Grim Reaper again, everyone finally saw Nameless' health for the first time. 8426/28426. Soaring Dragon, who was beside Wenqim, spat out a mouthful of blood. 28,000 health. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Nameless had fought a few matches, but this was the first time he had lost health. When his health limit was revealed, everyone was in despair. His level was also revealed along with the damage he had taken. Level 30. Oh my god, You, didn't you say that your brother was just playing around? What the hell is level 30? From the start of the match until now, Lu Yi had been in a daze. Brother agreed to the 8 million bet? Dumbfounded. Brother one-shot Mad Dragon? Dumbfounded. Brother is John Doe? Dumbfounded. Brother was swallowed by the sky flame pillar? Dumbfounded. Brother came out alive? Dumbfounded again. Brother 28,000 health, level 30. Dumbfounded, Jun said emotionally. Fuck, I was wrong. That mask must be a level 30 equipment. And I actually asked him to make one for me. I can't wear it even if he gave it to me. Li Qiuning felt that her heart couldn't take it anymore. She had already placed Nameless' strength in a very high position. But now she realized that there was no such thing as a very high position. She had underestimated him. Fuck, he's too strong. Saying that the sky flame pillar is only SOS. He's too arrogant. Whoa. Old Peng took a deep breath and finally spoke. In front of nameless Grim Reaper, can only die. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.